13 Bloods, right? Because they were on the wall, and he's the only one walked over. And before I could say anything, he snatched his shirt off, and he wanted to know if it was true. Because if you lied to me, I was like, no, it's true. This is what I did. I explained the whole thing to him. Now imagine had I lied. So these are...
You would have got it. You would have got it.
These are true gang members. These are the literal... His name is Raymond. They called him Ray Ray. He's a literal Ray Ray. He wasn't the leader. He wasn't in charge of nothing. But he was the one nobody wanted to mess with. When I tell you it was the scariest moment of my life, and I had to explain to these guys truthfully that this is what I did, this is how abusive I was, and this is why I was in prison. Imagine if I had been other guy, I think a tough guy. You want to be a bully, you want to be this, you want to be that. I wouldn't have made it out of Montgomery State Prison. I would not have seen 2020 come in. I wouldn't have made it out. I was there almost 2 years before anybody found out what I had done. And dude told on me to get the pressure off of him. When you go to prison under those kind of things, messing with women and children the way that they mess with, a lot of guys have a problem with that. Because a lot of those guys in prison see their mothers, they see their sisters, they see their daughters. And if you are an abuser of women and children, they see their own children. You're going to get dealt with. I was dealt with. They didn't beat me up, but I was like excommunicated. I wasn't cool no more. So I didn't get to sit. I didn't get to sit in a certain area. I didn't get to sit in a certain area when we went to church. I didn't get to go work out in a certain area when they was working out. I wasn't a part of them, but they ain't want nothing to do with me. So instead of beating me up, they just, you done, you on your own. Anything happen, I can't go to Ray because we was cool. We from literally his family's house in Florida and my family's house is literally 15 miles away. And because of that, I was on my own for almost a year. And you have to understand, when you get that mindset that this guy, conspiracy, whatever he was, talking about, oh, this is a stretch. You do that kind of thing and you go to prison, they gonna deal with you. Because a lot of people ain't with that abuse. I can tell you firsthand, they are not having that. And what you gonna do when the women do start arming themselves?
Yep, because that's coming.
Let's start exercising that, because that's next. Indiscriminate.
I'd rather they do it.
Facts.
We need to. We need to. That's what I'm saying. Like, women need to stop thinking that men are gonna come save you, because they're not.
Turn this down a little bit. What's good? What's good? Greetings. That's Memphis. Life was great. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Are you talking about Michigan? Excuse me. I was falling out. He was laughing. Dylan says, greetings, everyone. Well, this live, I'm actually letting you guys see a live that's taking place right now regarding, I don't know if it's kind of a blurry picture, so I'm going to try to point it out for you guys, what's going on in this picture. So this happened in Oklahoma, or I just asked the question and the lady told me. I should have wrote it down. Oakland, California. And a woman approached a guy she thought she knew, and she didn't, but she didn't approach him in any aggressive manner or anything like that. This is what I'm getting so far from this live stream that's taking place. And the guy right here, okay, so the lady is bent back on, this is her head right here. This is an arm from another man that's black, long right here is an arm. He has a black hoodie on. But this is a man right here. This man slapped the woman twice. And then this guy came up and punched her to where she got a concussion, and now she has a brain. Basically, two men jumped her for no reason at all. And so people are outraged because men are losing their ever-loving mind. And so I'm streaming this, and I'm going to have my commentary after we watch this live for a little bit. I want you guys to see it so you'll know what I'm talking about. So let's get a little sound going. Let me turn this back up.
Someone has music playing. I don't know where it's coming from.
Sorry.
I'll swipe out in there. Okay. Well,
That's better.
yeah, I'm at a loss for words for the first time. When I tell you I saw that video, I couldn't watch it twice. Like, it was so trifling. And for me, my red flag is men who like to be around other men to the point where it's like they'll sit. I don't know whose music that is.
Oh no, she was a lady.
I hear that music.
Yeah. Those men that sit on blocks like PACs and sororities, they are my biggest red flag because you want other men.
Men are really in love with other men, and they cling together
do things like this. For him to punch her,
to hide their affection and love for other men.
and she's telling the
and
man
sexual
why she doesn't
attraction.
want to date him or see him or whatever. He says, "I'm here now," slaps her twice, slams her on a car, and then another because he wants the approval of another man, punches her.
Punches her.
For what? And I've been in situations and I felt her pain where you know that you cannot fight back. Like, I felt in her situation, she knew if I fight back, it's going to double down twice as bad. And so she just took it. My thing is, for the red pillars who sit in these lives like KG, always problematic, but you guys will never step up and say this is wrong. You'll find any what did she do, anything but to say the truth. It's not mental health. We're not going to give them a scapegoat or a scapegoat. It's not mental health. You want men. You
want men. They are attracted to men. They are sexually attracted to men, and they're hiding in the red pill community.
Tell KG that in another live.
I tell him that in every live.
And LL, and this LL person. This is the thing. You want to talk about black women unaliving their kids, and that's a horrible thing for anybody to unalive their kids. I'll be the first one to say it's a horrible thing. But where's the father? Let me tell you, y'all need to stop being these walking petri dishes of mass destruction. How come you ain't vet? How come you ain't vet to make sure that she wouldn't harm your kid? Because, see, y'all don't have a problem fertilizing everybody.
Everyone.
Everyone. Because you want people to be a placeholder. Oh, if I get with this woman, she'll just be my placeholder. This is the thing. Hold on a second. Because it's picking up in my headphones. This is the thing. If you actually cared about these babies that you're making, then you will be there for these kids. And you will see that the mother ain't ish. And if the mother ain't ish, it's your responsibility because it's your child too. And I don't want to hear courts give me a hard time, because I'll tell you like this. When men go to court, 60% of men that file for custody get custody for their kids. So you have no excuse. If your baby mother is trash, it's because you chose trash. You chose her. Just like you tell us, you chose her. You chose the trash. So it's your responsibility to make sure that child is safe. And if you don't, you're just as complicit as that mother who's trash.
Right.
You're just as... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Let's talk about how at times men are the ones who drive women to that point when you have a baby and you leave. That causes postpartum because you run out the street. But even more so, why did your mother not teach you accountability? When we're having a conversation about one situation, why are you scapegoating and pointing fingers, say, well, this one over here did that? We're not talking about that right now. And when things like that get their proper attention, right, they're held accountable. These men do not know how to hold accountability. My life is the way that it is because I did X, Y, and Z. I would do X, Y, and Z to better it, but y'all can't do that. Y'all want to point fingers, and it shows what type of environment you were raised in. Because I know accountability. When I hold myself accountable, nobody else is involved in what I say. I only speak about what I did.
Right.
You blame society.
And this is the thing. You holding yourself accountable, because motherfuckers in nature basically brought it to my attention. She was like, people cannot make people accountable. All they can do is bring them to account, which is true. You can only bring people to account. It's their job to bring themselves to accountability. And they have to usually be accountable to themselves.
That's right.
Me deciding
and
to
not
have
false
my child,
accountability.
even though my son's father
Real
was
accountability.
crap and still is, was me being accountable to myself and to my kid, because I wanted my child. I chose to have a child. He and I planned to have a child. But a lot of people, a lot of men, unfortunately, will wait until you're vulnerable to really show their true colors. And in my case, that's what he did. He decided to become abusive while I was pregnant. So, excuse me, he didn't show me that side of him until he felt that I was vulnerable and I would never go anywhere. So who is that on? Is that on me? Was that for me to be accountable for?
Right.
Or was that him?
Who wants to
Because he showed
be
his true
incarnated
colors.
back to this planet?
No, that's on him. And postpartum can also be brought upon by your support system being ripped away. You think you have support, you think that's
Absolutely
way, and it doesn't happen that way. That brings on postpartum. As there was a woman who she hit her child on live, or she beat her child on live. She ended up getting arrested for it. And on the live, it said she was upset because he left. So while
right now they're kind of off subject. So I'm gonna turn them down a little bit. Right now they're kind of off subject of what they have on the screen, and what they have on the screen is a woman who got beat up by two men. This man right here who is standing over her, slapped her so very hard she fell back, and this is her bent all the way back onto the car. This is her head, and this is her body. She's in blue. So he slapped her so hard. You see his hand is still there from the slap, that she fell back onto the car. And then his knucklehead friend, like this grown man could do his abuse by himself. Like he couldn't handle abusing a female by himself. His hard lover boy, because that's what it is. His lover boy, his secret lover, yeah. That's what they are. They sit around and wreck your communities, wishing on a star. The secret lover boy, he gonna come up and punch the woman twice. This woman did nothing. And when I say she did nothing, but thought she knew who this guy was and did not approach him rudely. But these red pill communities, they house in secret lover boys. They love each other, but acting like they there to support the community and raise awareness for black men to be strong. Yeah, to be strong and go out here and knock the crap out of black women or any woman. Because she looked black. She might just be light skinned because the picture is kind of blurry. So let me see if they're back on track with the commentary, and then I'm gonna turn around. We're gonna have our own commentary
at that particular time.
I want to hear what your thoughts are.
Doing what's wrong. They just didn't care. They just didn't value her life. That's what it was, you know. And that's what it is. A lot of these males, they're not, you know what I'm saying, putting value to these women's life because they think of them as just a bead, or they think of them, you know what I'm saying, maybe they can get money out of them, or maybe they can pimp them or something like that, you know. You know, they don't think about if this person is a human being. You know what I'm saying? And then if she's pregnant, they definitely don't care about that because, you know what I'm saying? Man, I didn't get taken care of when I was a baby. You know what I'm saying? My parents wasn't there for me, and they tried to use all these excuses. All of that happened to me. And at the end of the day, when I turned 18, I said, hey, I can keep on blaming my family for the rest of my life, or I can move on and try to heal from it. And it took me a long time to heal from it. But I did not, after that point, I stopped blaming everything that happened to me while I was growing up on my mom and my dad. Even though my dad was the major part of it, I was like, nah, I'm finna move on, and I'm finna make sure that I have a life for myself. And that's what I've been doing, and that's what I've been building. And so far, I think I done a good job. I could do better, and I'm doing better. But yeah, I came a long ways, and there's no excuse. So when I see cats like them and what they done and how they done it, I don't have no mercy for them. Nah, man, nah. They deserve to go to jail for the rest of their life, man, for something like that, because they're gonna keep on doing it until eventually they kill a lady. But y'all have a nice day, and
Hey, King, where's this video at?
Y'all have a blessed day.
King, where's the video at?
The video is hold on 1 second.
Can somebody pin it?
Hold up, look. If y'all type into the Google search Grind Face Entertainment and put in @Oakland_111, or put in 4 ones and then put 4556. It should bring it up at the top. It should say X. Can you can't comments anymore?
I don't know, but it would be good if we could pin it.
You said, what's the rest
I
of
put
it?
it in the comments. You can put it in Google
It's in
search
the-
as it is there.
it's in the
and it'll
comments.
bring you to the X. Yeah.
You can also
Yeah, it's thick. So yeah, y'all be prepared. Yeah,
It's terrible.
you can also watch it on Demon. This is the person who posted TikTok.
but y'all have a
Yeah, but
night.
it's not on her page anymore because TikTok took it down. TikTok took it off her page. King, can you? Yeah, King. King background is blazing. It's just blazing hip hop and R&B over there.
I don't know those men that recorded it. What did they like? Did they rewatch it, or were they proud of their work? Like, what was the point of recording that?
They thought it was funny. They thought it was funny.
It's entertainment.
And they thought it was funny, and they thought she deserved it because how dare she say what she said. And one of them is sitting up there. I'm like, you showing your whole ass, bro. Like, I don't even think that you just like, how dare a woman say that I do anything with a woman? Because baby, that's not advertisement for us.
She said in the video, why she didn't want to quote date them. So I'm gonna assume, and I could be wrong, correct me, but when she's saying I didn't want to date them, she's saying why. He's like, oh, I won't. A lot of women that work in that industry, they won't talk to men a certain
Talk to them.
Yeah, so I
Right.
think that she probably saw them and was like, nope, it's danger, and didn't want, you know what I mean? And then they took it
Right.
to the extent that she knew they were going to take it to.
Yeah. And they did
Because
exactly that.
there's in this video, there's a point in time where she goes to step to the right to step around him, and he gets in her face. She's trying to get out of the situation. I'm just like,
She was calmly telling him, she said, I don't know your personality. That's so sad.
It is. It was disgusting to watch. It was horrible to watch. And I really feel bad for her because, yes, he did choke her. He did choke her. One is holding her down, choking her, while the other one has punched on her face. And he punched her so hard, she's concussed and has a brain bleed.
Sick.
So, ladies,
are they in jail? What's happened since then?
Sick
Is she
of.
in jail or anything? Do we know anything?
I have no idea. I don't know anything more about the case. I don't, and it's horrible. It's disgusting. It's
Sick of.
ladies, protect yourselves. I mean,
Yes,
that's the reason
indeed.
why I did this live, because
Take them out,
this is a
ladies.
one-sided war.
Take them
And
out,
understand
ladies.
that a lot of these dudes out here are unhinged because
Take
Kevin
them
Samuels
smooth
has
out.
them thinking
They're
that
trying to take you
you
out.
don't have any value. If they don't see value in you, then you really don't have
Take
any
them
value.
out.
And all you could basically do,
Time to take out the trash.
oh, they got
It's
caught?
time to take out the trash.
Were they caught?
Hello.
If you have any information about them being caught, that would be great. Any information that
Doing
anybody
good.
has
I'm
on
doing
this
good.
case
How
would
you
be
doing
great.
today?
But it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
It's a sad situation.
It is.
It is. It's really the fact that we have come. This is where we are. This is where we are. This is where we are.
Okay, so I'm gonna
Ladies, can I say something?
let them, because they probably gonna be on this live for a little bit. So I'm kind of turn down the sound and turn it around so we can. I think they recapped what just went down.
I don't care if you guys.
So hopefully you guys heard what happened. What had happened was, hold on, let me get some stuff. I might need some things. Took some notes. What? Took some notes in my mind. In my mind, I want to. All right.
Use your head as a post. Use your shoulders as a filling post. So you can see what you can feel what the chest is, where the shoulders are. If you're short and you feel the shoulders, with your back to your head, we accept the favor. You got your view. Reach back down.
I don't think it's all. That's good. That's where we can start at, Melanie. I don't think it's all entertainers' fault. Because this has just erupted with these men, and you see what color they are. You see what color they are, brothers. This is a brother. This is a brother attacking a woman. Now she looked like a light-skinned woman right here. Hold on, I'm turning it up one more time, one more again to see if they recapping.
I really don't care. They just don't understand how much I don't care. Because if you look at my profile picture, it'll tell you something right there. Joke, I don't care what you think of me. Because I'm not concerned. But the men of the world, black men of this world, you know, and I ain't talking about the boys, like the morons in that image right there. Mm-hmm. How are we going to do it? I don't know how long it's going to take.
You know what I think it is?
Like we need to take back control of the black community.
It's the red pill community keeping these black men crazy.
To fix what's wrong in the male side of the community at all whatsoever.
Facts.
So I'm gonna leave it at that. I got to go help the missus because she's about to. We just came from the rain and she's about to break something over here. Put that down.
Just imagine that this is a solid red pill.
I appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much for your
this community right here.
All right, y'all have a blessed day and good night.
That's red and yellow, but it's the red pill community.
Backstory. I'm gonna give you the backstory.
Here's the backstory.
Okay, so I can't tell you everything, but what I'm gonna tell you is from what I saw. What I saw was a woman address a man, the man in the gray, and the man in the gray
man right here
slapped her.
This man right
and
here.
And she tried to back away from him. He grabbed her by her neck
right here
and led her to this car and bent her backwards.
This is her on the car.
Again. Or did he slap her first, then bent her back? It's one or two.
Okay. So
he slapped her first, then bent her back. And then the guy, I'm gonna let you speak, Christian. You could correct me after I speak. And then the guy, his friend, who has on a black jacket with the yellow on the back, came and punched
this guy
her
right
in the
here
face extremely hard.
This is a guy.
And from my understanding, this woman is concussed and she has a brain bleed.
This is a guy right here with a yellow black and yellow jacket. He done punched a woman in the face.
So I just watched
Lover boy. Lover boy thought his guy needed help to beat up a woman.
They're standing up there. And that's all I know that because I'm looking at shadows.
I said it. That's what they are, secret lovers.
They were trying to get at the lady, and she said, I was just like, I don't know you enough to pose a judgment on you to date you. And they was like, well, who trying to date you? I ain't trying to date you. Who trying to date you? And he slapped her the first time. Then
that's it.
He asked her again. She was quiet. She got quiet. She was in shock.
Of course.
Again. Then she tried to walk around the car. He grabbed her by put on jacket.
He was showing out for this guy right here. This one right here.
Knock her in the face.
You gonna get mad because the woman said, I don't know you enough to.
These jokers.
They sick. They lovers of men.
Why this boy got his pants down his damn man?
Because he lovers of men. That started in the jailhouse. It started in jailhouse. That sagging that y'all do to where your pants is behind. It's on your knees now. That started in the jailhouse to let them know you've been had. You've been bust wide open.
They don't look that young.
I'm pissed off about this right here.
Guys are.
And they in their 20s. They in their 20s. They ain't no older than 25.
But I'm not. I'm
it
going
don't
to
matter about the
disagree, bro.
age, though.
Yeah, but I'm going to respectfully disagree, Christian, because
they need their ass kicked.
They need to be eradicated. We no longer want them here. Simple as that. They done lost their damn mind.
Right.
They lovers of men. They done lost their mind showing out for other men. That's all they do. Showing out for other men because they want to screw the other men.
What up, Sam? Where you? Oh, hey, what's going on, Sam?
That's right.
Say, all I needed to know was city and state, and that's it, and I'm out.
Oakland,
Is
California.
that somebody? For real? Are you calling me that? I'm a junior.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
Okay, that's what I need.
This happened in Oakland, California. These men out here done lost their rabbit ass mind.
Thank you. You know.
And I always complain talking about a woman. No, talk about your rabbit ass brother.
Of these particular males, they're not paying attention to. They're not reading the room. Now they've been in some room where they have a lot of hype men, and a lot of people still ride for them. But I'm like, the tides are turning.
If they turning.
And like I'm
They gotta take out these red pill men out here stirring up violence.
A young lady said, y'all remember when that one girl said that all men should start life in jail and then prove their way out?
That's right.
And they got arrows pointed at this right here, right?
Mm.
So there's a couple things. Somebody put out a narrative that she was dating both of these guys and that they got together and did this. She allegedly, and when I say allegedly, I mean that it may or may not be the person. I don't see her picture attached to it. It's talking about that, that's not it. Like, the different particular perspectives that I put out there as far as what's going on with them. But what I've been appreciative of what I've been seeing so far,
is that they're
kind of like, and that's been the main.
I'm gonna break down some scriptures too. I'm gonna break down some scriptures too up in here. We're gonna get into really what's going on.
They were like, I'm gonna justify because people get so hyped and they get so emotional.
I'm emotional. Shit.
Your lack of self-control ain't got shit to do with me.
It sure don't. It sure don't.
And I live in a particular state where I'm very much aware of the fact that one, we got a governor over here that just wants you to be able to hold a crayon and write your name down and be able to get.
And then always talking about a man leading and men is behind and the guy doggone reading scale in school.
The same color as me, especially as a male and or.
What they gonna lead you to a cliff?
As much as other people's around here.
I'm pissed off. What they gonna lead you to their fist?
Have something between your legs that I don't, but
they lead you nowhere.
If something happens and you come at me in a certain way and I come at you in a certain way and I decide not to say shit, they're not gonna care that much. So why do y'all keep doing this shit? I don't know whoever, somebody was like, and that right here is how you feel my soul. Thank you very much to the person who posted it. Somebody's like, are you sure that wasn't her friend? We was like, no, that's not her friend. But it was just like, but they posted, they're gonna all get in trouble. And I was like, that just makes them stupid.
The cameraman was a man filming it.
That just makes them comfortable in it.
The first one was a grown black man.
They just knew that.
And then his lover boy, secret lover boy, gonna come up and punch the woman. All black men.
But there's been more of an upswell of people like, I might not even like black women. I might not even like them hoes. What the fuck you doing? It's not the same.
I'm gonna tell you something about these men that holler about they don't like black women too. I'm gonna tell you why they don't like black women.
She didn't approach them.
Give me a whole
They
second.
approached her.
They approached her. They always hollering about they don't like a black woman. There's a damn lie.
Right? Like when we see men and women wrongfully unalived by the police, and they always try to backtrack. When Castro was unalived in front of his daughter in a car, they tried to bring up his drug charges that he had previously. When Floyd was unalived, they tried to bring up videos that he's done in his past as his career. We don't care. Can we get that same energy? It's not fair.
No, because they the new slave masters. I keep telling y'all that.
Rhetoric being spread when something happens and you go into the backstory of them, it's trifling and it really don't matter. I'm not speaking on you, but I'm speaking for people who are saying what she may have been doing or this. We don't care about none of that. What we care about is that a woman was assaulted by 2 poor men or whatever.
Yeah, I'm looking at all these videos, right? And I don't really get on this World Star and all this stuff, but I'm looking at all these videos. Why won't the I'm gonna start a fucking petition. Y'all must need to allow me to start my business. I'm so confused.
Start a petition. What's gonna happen is what happened? Let me turn it. Hold on. Let him finish. I'm about to turn around because I'm hot. I'm pissed off
Super
tonight.
back
The new
like
video.
You just open me.
I'm sorry. I just watched it.
And it's
I
sick.
just watched it.
Oh, you watched it? Okay. All right. When Christian was talking, you could go. You
I'm
can
sorry,
take a
go ahead.
breather, take a breath, and then after Christian, you can speak.
I wanted to start this business some years ago, and it's called divine intervention. And I feel like all I want to do is just give me all these cluckers. You ain't got to put them all in jail. Just let them in. Just let me have about 30 to 45 days. The first 15 days.
That ain't gonna do nothing, mister.
I guarantee you they will never do
That
this
ain't gonna do
again
nothing.
to nobody.
Send them over there to the Gaza Strip. Send them to war. Get them up out of here.
The fuck? I don't know what that means.
Get them up out of here.
I'm doing that shit in my garage. I'm so confused.
Get them up out of here.
Remember Drop Squad? I don't know how many people remember the movie Drop Squad. You need Drop Squad. Just pick them up and
drop them in on the Gaza Strip. Drop them smooth in the middle of war.
Right when the driver, they saw.
They saw.
They
Really saw.
Not the shell. This lady just drove by.
Kept on going.
Casualty. I mean, and casually. I said casualty. Casually.
See, they'll never approve of your business for the simple fact that you would ruin the economy, right? These men are good for the economy. Jail.
Oh, I will fuck the economy up.
Don't put them in jail. Send them to Iraq. Send them over there to the Gaza Strip. Send them to Israel. That's where they can go.
And I said it was one man who
show them what really war is about. They on the corner slapping women. Dumbass.
Disgusting. And I said, why is he still alive? Like, why don't I just have the death penalty? And my supervisor said, well, the death penalty costs too much money.
No, it's free.
Okay, I want to let this guy have his opportunity to say what he saw.
These people that commit these most heinous crimes, and it's like you caught them. Like these dudes, you caught them on camera. You caught them doing this. You caught them in the act. Turn them over to the family. Beginning and end, turn them over to the family. Say, okay, this is where you're going to dispose of them. Then, here's a little place. You just come and bring them to the little dumpster.
Okay.
After you done. Like, that's it. You ain't got to spend no money. Just turn them over to the family. Say, this is the designated spot. After you're done, we're going to have cleanup come and pick them up and take them wherever they got to go.
Bullshit. That's food for my hog. That's good meat for the hog.
But then how can the government get paid when the government gets paid every day of them being there?
They want black. They want let me type it. They want melanin.
They don't care about the criminal. It's all about the money.
Y'all better be glad the camera's in the way. Hold on for a minute. Let me turn this around. Oops, sorry, y'all. Let me turn this camera around.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're not sure of the date, but you might have to do some research to find out when it happened. That's all I can say to that. This is like...
Okay, hey, y'all, what's poppin'?
I'm telling you, this is...
What's good?
And then,
hold on for a minute.
Once again, women
move y'all out the way.
The lack of sisterhood that we have.
Tell these folks.
Women are saying, but...
The cost of melanin is higher than gold. Let them get the melanin from these men's bodies, and the government will be satisfied. How about them apples?
A pew-pew, get you a taser. Get you whatever you gonna need, but you gonna have to save yourself.
That's right. These men have lost their damn rabbit-ass mind. Y'all hold on. We're going to get into this conversation.
February 23rd, 2024. I know why he's looking for the date.
I can do the pick-me's now.
Hold on.
Oh, what was she wearing?
Oh, yeah.
Her
Yeah.
You need to be
Yeah.
modest. If you were a modest woman.
Government have their...
Her profession is a dancer. You can clearly see that in what she got on the thing that holds the money on her leg and everything. That's clear right there. And they wanted, from what I'm seeing, what it looks like to me, just me, is she was a dancer. After her shit was over, she was going home. She was on her way home. They stopped and approached her. Asked her, hey, I wanted you. Where was you at? And her response was, look, I just don't think that we good for each other. I don't think that the things that you got going on was good for me to date me. And that's when everything, who's talking about dating you? And boom, 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 and there it is. That's it. And that's just from me being able to just.
This thing getting on my nerves. It's jumping all the damn around.
Yes, sir.
Sure. Okay, so Mr. BKA.
Okay.
And I'm definitely not like a back and forth person. But the reason why I asked for that information is because I'm a person that's in a position that can get some stuff rolling. Christian know who I am and what I do. So when I came and asked for that, I wasn't trying to be funny or anything like that. I was being serious about that. So I understand that you might not care, but to me, this situation is very disturbing. And me personally, I need to get some things moving on this.
I appreciate you saying.
I appreciate that.
I know you. Well.
There we go.
Christian
there we go, y'all. What's cracking? What's crack-a-lacking, y'all? Let me turn them down for a minute. We'll go back to this because it's going to probably be a long conversation tonight. Let me get y'all raised up here. Look here. I'm pissed off, y'all. That don't make no sense. The red pill community have spawned legions of devils, okay? Because these men around this camp, no damn reason, just jumping on a female. Jumping, I don't care if the woman worked at a strip club. You don't know her life. You don't know what she going through. That's the problem. People on here, well, what she had on? Where she work at? What? And you know that was the problem when the police was bamming your heads in and shooting you down in the doggone street, right, black men? Yeah, that was the problem. And so who stepped up? Who stepped up? Who started marching for you black men that was getting your head busted to the white meat in the streets? Shot down 20, 40 times. You want to be listening to these red pill brothers who are actually, let me let you in on a secret. These red pill brothers are actually in love with one another. They are gay. To each their own, but they need to keep they rhetoric off these doggone social media ways, because this is the new media. This is the new media. Ain't nobody watching TV, Melanie. That you could say that for, it's some folks watching TV. Folks are probably up at 50 and 60, my age and up. I don't watch TV, but there's some folks that watch TV. And then you might have some younger generation watching the love and hip hop stuff, the foolishness on there. But for the most part, a lot of them are on these media platforms watching these doggone red pill. I'm talking about these men that's losing it. They have not even lose. They have lost their ever-loving mind. Okay? They've lost their ever-loving mind. Because this woman said, I don't think we compatible. I don't care if I walk smooth up out the god doggone strip club. That don't mean I want to just date any god doggone nigger that's sitting his behind on the trunk of his car waiting for me to get off. What in the hell do these people think that they got the right? And because this woman politely says, we're not compatible, and the way she said it, however she expressed herself, this man think he had a right to slap her, then push her down to the car and choke her, and then his lover boy friend, lover boy, these two men gonna jump a woman, his lover boy friend gonna come up and punch the woman, while the other lover, they screwing each other. When they say, oh, I'm going out with the boys, they going out, they gonna screw each other, and then they gonna go to the strip club and try to screw a woman to make their guilt go away. Y'all hold on. To make their guilt go away. So then they gonna try to go screw a woman. And since the woman the woman, this is my scenario. This is my scenario. And the woman turned them down. I got to turn on the air, y'all. I got high up in here. The woman turned them down. And now they got ball sacks on the chin because they done been screwing each other because that's what they about. They lover boys of themselves, of men. The red pill community. Y'all hold tight. Y'all listen to this.
You are responsible for your own redemption, not anyone else. A lot of people on this app have done heinous things to people. But you know what? You don't hear them take accountability. You don't hear them own their shit. You don't hear them do any of that. You don't even hear them be remorseful for what they did. But here it is, a man who's actually standing in it, who's remorseful for what he did, is still looked at as a pariah. And I'm not saying that what you did, hey, how people see it is how they see it. And they choose not to fuck with you, I get it. I'm not standing in the way of, I'm not trying to sell anybody on anything. But all I'm saying is there is a true line of distinction when a person is willing to stand in their truth and take accountability for what the fuck they did, own it, feel remorse behind it, and is trying to work to heal themselves and be a better version
The world
of themselves.
is nothing but damn psychopaths, and it's a lot of them who got doggone men as psychopaths.
Who will sit here.
A lot of them. I'm sorry. It's got to be known. It's got to be said. A lot of these men are psychopathic. Not narcissistic. They past narcissists. They psychopathic, y'all.
And the only reason why you don't know that they're doing shit like this is because they're not talking about it. That's why when you hear so many people, so many men, when women say, hey, I was hurt. They
don't believe it.
In my circle, I don't know nothing about that. That ain't never
They don't
happened to
believe
us.
it. Because they are there at their home doing it.
You were probably the one that was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You was probably the one that was doing it.
Because I gotta go, Kate.
Exactly, sister. They probably the one that's doing it. That's why I don't believe dudes stink.
Okay, so Nubia, how are you feeling? No, I appreciate your vulnerability. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for expressing remorse. I appreciate you for doing that. Because I think so many people listen, things that people do and what they do after speaks volumes. And if you're not willing to step into some type of remorse and understanding of what you did, and if you're not able to see anybody else's pain and have empathy, because that's all
they don't have no empathy, sis. They don't have it. They don't even know what empathy is.
Then guess what?
They have lost it. They're empty vessels.
It's not sincere.
They empty vessels and swear they the hardest vessel. I'm gonna break something down. Let me write my notes what I'm talking about.
I just can't. You know,
they always talking about the woman's the weaker vessel. You don't even know what that means. Half them don't even know what that means. The woman's the weaker vessel. What is a vessel?
I struggle to make it because.
Don't be breaking down crying now, mister. I know you done hurt a whole bunch of women. Let me get off of here.
8 years, I think this year will make 8 years it's happened. And I still struggle with this. I've served my time. I've done that. I've talked to you. I've talked to the therapist. Talked to the
what else they
counselor.
be saying? Woman's the weaker vessel. What else they be saying on these red pill panels?
It's just.
I
should have watched that. And it's sad
Man,
to say that. We really are a danger to the ladies and the children. We really are. And the only reason brothers say, I ain't stepping in and saving no woman. What if he could? It's because we know you.
Because you're scared. You're scared to fight another man. You're scared to fight another man. But you'll put your hands on that weaker vessel, won't you?
And let you niggas have that community. Because we know.
Y'all can have it. Bomb it. Get them all together. Let them have a conference and bomb it. And then send all their body parts to be recycled. Get all the melanin from them. Them crazy Looney Tune men.
I'm happy that you're doing the work to separate yourselves from the NPCs. And
there's a lot of them as NPCs and swear they doggone chosen. Swear they doggone leader. can't leave themselves out of the damn crazy Looney Tunes talking points they done got themselves into. We'll turn this down.
To figure out how you can forgive yourself.
I done got pissed off watching this here. These men out here thinking they running something, leaders can't lead themselves out. Can't even see that they in a crazy house with a man that's a leader. Talking about he leading. He can't lead himself out the crazy house. Turn this around. They lovers of themselves. That's what actually the Bible says. They lovers of themselves. They lovers of themselves, men. Loving other men. Undercover lovers. Secret lovers. Y'all know nothing about that. That song, Secret Lovers. That's what they are. They better be glad. YouTube, y'all need to get it together. If I want to play a church song or a song, I like music to match my doggone theme of the night. Y'all need to get y'all copyright issues together, YouTube. Get your copyright together. This don't make no sense. I'm getting into it tonight. I'm pissed off. We just we was tapping into a live stream that's currently taking place on TikTok regarding three men from what we can observe just simply by the video or the picture attack a woman, and the video, the camera guy, he's included in that attack because you sat your behind up there and videotaped it. You sick mofos. You're sick. You're sick in the god doggone head and talk about you a leader. A leader of what? Hyenas? Cackling hyenas? Talking about they a leader. So the cameraman, guilty. I wish I had a doggone, I wish I had a gavel. Let me something. We have court right doggone now. We are here today to review this case that's on the docket. 3 men, from what we've gathered, are involved outside of a strip club, a nightclub, where a woman was leaving the nightclub and a man approached her, wanted to, holler, get the digits. Be able to further have communications with the woman. Communications. He wanted to get his tallywhacker wet. That's all it was. Because he was at the strip club with his boys. The stripper did not want to talk to the man, was very gracious in saying that I don't think we're compatible. The man proceeded to swing and slapped the woman twice, which knocked her to the car, back into a car, when then he proceeded to choke her by the neck. Now his gay lover buddy, his booty buddy, friend was with him at this nightclub. And so his booty buddy friend, that, they call each other homeboys, hoes over bros, bros over hoes, them type of boys, they was together. So he proceeded to punch the woman because he had to show that he was the stronger vessel. Okay, so he proceeded to, because his friend needed assistance in finishing off this weaker vessel of a woman who was already knocked down to the car and being choked, mind you, by the friend, the lover boy. And so his friend proceeded to punch the woman so very hard that now she has a concussion in the hospital and has a brain bleed. Guilty. And now we are looking at the one who got all this evidence for us tonight, his third friend, which is the cameraman. And instead of using his high-tech camera and phone, which is a little computer, to either call the police or try to call, some person in the establishment that the woman just had come out of, a bouncer perhaps, he proceeded to film the attack. Guilty. All three, guilty, guilty, guilty. Red pill booty boys, guilty, guilty, guilty. They booty boys. They leaders? Are they leaders, Judge? Hell to the no. Guilty of thinking they was a leader. Are they the leader and the pillar in the community, Judge? Hell no. Guilty for thinking they are a pillar in the community. Do they like women, Judge? Hell no. Guilty for thinking they like women when they nothing but booty boys hiding behind their masculinity. They false what, Judge? Masculinity. Guilty, guilty, guilty. Now, let's get into this. Let's get into this. These men's minds are gone. They're gone. And they tell you the men are the leaders. These men right here will go and watch, will go home. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get situated. Go home and turn on the next podcast. Did y'all see my red pills? It's not a full red pill. Hold on. Let me put them back in the chat. Because this is who they learning from. This is who they learning from right here. Hold on. Give me a minute. All of them guilty. Where my dog gonna feel that? Hold on. Give me a minute. This is who they learning from. Just imagine this is all red. The red pill community. That's who they learning from. And all of them guilty. Every last one of them. So we're recapping the live stream that's taking place right now. They're causing bloodshed to be on the streets, okay? And all of them that sat around, grown-ass men, these strong vessels, guilty. Let me tell you something about weak vessels and strong vessels. Because I know some of you guys are visual learners, and I'm really... hold on. So you can understand what a weak vessel and a strong vessel is. Because some of y'all, you're not studying, and you're not learning, and you're getting led astray. Hold on. With these booty buddy red pill boys. They booty buddies. They lovers of themselves. Hold on. We're going to have class tonight. I hope you got your pens and paper ready. We're having class tonight. Let's talk about weaker vessels and stronger vessels so you can understand what your preacher man and that y'all confused about. Anybody first before I get into it. What is your definition? Or do you have a definition of a weaker vessel? A stronger vessel? What do you know about a weaker vessel or a stronger vessel? Anybody? Drop it in the chat. Definition of vessel. Matter of fact, so y'all can hear it. I wonder if I can go on. These folks, they okay. Because I know I can give you some information, some knowledge that will make you really open up and shake off the shackles of your mind, because you have residue of sleep still attached to your learning. You have residue of sleep. Definition. Because I want y'all to hear this, because I'm turning this back and forth all night. Let me go on the tube. Go to definitions. Because these red pill booty buddies done lost their rabbit ass mind out here. These red pill booty buddies done lost they rabbit ass mind out here. If you coming in late, just go back and watch some of the first part of this live stream so then you'll know what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to keep recapping. Oh, good one, Melanated. Good one. Ship or large boat. Very good. Very good. Good example. Good example and good analogy. We're talking about vessels. Oh, let me put this in here. Good analogy. Come on. Hold on. Where's my doggone? I ain't gonna be messing with you tonight, devil. Devil want to keep y'all in slumber. What is the definition of vessel? Let's get that first. Good analogy, melanin. Vessel. I just said melanin and then pulled up your doggone name. Look here. Pay attention. Vessel. Ain't got time to be typed. Vessel. As much as I doggone talk to you, you want me to type this in, mother sucker. Yeah. That's from Google. Good job, Google. Good job. Look here, it want to bring up the blood vessels. Ain't this about a... Okay, let's hear the definition, see if this... Let's listen up, and then Melon said that came from Google, which is good. This definition right here came from Google, is what Melanin said. We talking about, because they love to say, let me get my notes. You know how I like to do as we go. These red booty buddy boys and lost their damn mind, all the preaching and venom that they spilling out here. Got these men off their rocker. Women are the weaker vessel. Hold on. And so I asked, what is a vessel? Because they always talk about weaker vessel. What is a vessel? Let's get into it. Before I get into this definition, Melanin said she went to Google. This is what Google said. A ship, right? Or a large boat. Good job, Google. Vessels. These are vessels. They are the same. They are the same. They look alike, give or take. If I had a white one like this, but I'm going to show you the difference. These are vessels. Your body is a vessel. I could pour things into this vessel. You see this one? This is what I ate poison. I told y'all the other night. These French fries. That's not what we care about. Don't judge me right now. Vessels. That's what the woman is, the weaker what? Vessel. This vessel, I can't even squish it. You see my hand? I'm trying to squish it. Ooh. Ooh. This vessel is strong. I can't even squish this vessel. This must be the man. His body is built stronger, more muscle. He's heavier than the woman. His vessel is stronger than the woman. This is a vessel too. This vessel, oh my goodness. Oh, would you look at that? Can this vessel hold something in it? Yes. This can hold water, juice. This can hold water, juice. They can hold the same thing. This one is weak. You see how easy I can squeeze her? Oh, she's so tender. Her delicate feet shouldn't even touch the ground. vessel. Weak, but the same. You this might be talking about the blood vessel.
Craft designed for transportation on water, such as a ship.
Listen, and let me tell you something. That's good, Google, because if you know anything about maritime law, where Melanin comment at? Let me go back. Oh, it's still up there. You know anything about maritime law? They consider y'all as vessels. And when you came into this world, you went to the hospital. You had to go to the doc, right? To the doctor's office, right? They consider your body as a vessel, like the ship or a boat. The woman is a ship and the man is a boat. Woo, 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 woo. Tug, tug, tug. Beep, 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 beep. I'm so light and tender, but I can carry the baby. But my vessel is so tender. Your government calls you a vessel. Since you are maritime law, or you are on the law of the sea, the law of the land. When your wife get ready, your girl get ready to have a baby, just like your vessel, these boats have to come to the dock and unload. Where they tell you to take your wife to when she get ready to unload that cargo? To the dock of the bay, the doctor's office. Take that vessel to the doctor's office because she got cargo in it. Hold on. I'm gonna teach y'all tonight because y'all done learn from. Calm down, sis. Y'all pray for me. Calm down. She got cargo. It's in the vessel. She on the ocean. Just like Big Boy. They on the ocean. But her vessel is light and tender. See how I can squeeze it? But she got cargo. They on the ocean. Just like they say, you on the ocean in the maritime law. The law of the water. But you come to that dock, oh Lord, her vessel start to rumble and it's shaking. Ooh, wait. Something's not right. Something's up. Let's go to the dock. Where? The doctor's office. The dock of the bay. So you can unload that cargo. This is the boat. This is a ship. This is the ship. This is a little tugboat. And tugboats are strong. Okay? Them tugboats are strong. That's right. The vessel. The woman vessel is the womb. There you go. You got it, Melanie. You got an A in the class so far. Melanie's on point. They done got to the dock of the bay. They at the doctor's office. Because her vessel needs to unload the cargo. So she go to the doctor's office and open up that port. Unload. Push that cargo out. Push it out. Okay. Cargo's out. They done tricked you and fooled you. I'm on a weaker vessel and a stronger vessel. You don't even know what the hell they taught you, telling you about. You think it's about being dominant over a damn woman. You're lost in the goddamn sauce. Here you go. Cargo is out. Here's the itinerary. Here is the ledger, your birth certificate. The ledger is out. What was in the cargo? The mother done delivered the cargo, the weaker vessel. Y'all lost. Y'all confused. You bewildered. I know, but I'm trying to help you out tonight because I'm sick of hearing about it. Y'all got you got doctrines of devils. Don't even know that you've been hoodwinked. The woman, the weaker vessel, the weaker ship, the little tugboat, she done delivered the cargo, the baby. Now you got your birth certificate getting filled out. This is what was in the cargo, what was delivered on the dock of the bay. Now, because you're on land now. The baby is on land now. She's out of the ship, the vessel. I'm filling out the paperwork. Pay attention. Don't run now. Pay attention. You're only running because you don't want to know the truth. You want to know patriarchal rule that has you dominating and oppressing your female partner. Because you don't understand that you've been hoodwinked here in this matrix, this illusion. So the weaker vessel has delivered her cargo. Get over here. Go clean that cargo up. How many? Is any more in that cargo bay? Any more in that womb? It's only one. Sometimes we get tricked. Sometimes it's a throwaway up in here. Sometimes we call them twins. Any more in that womb, in that bay? They go looking deep. Any more? Okay. Go put her and go put her down there in the harbor. Fix her. Go clean her up. Put her in the harbor. Oh, wait a minute. Before you put it in the harbor, come sign this doggone itinerary, this ledger. So it was one monster. Oh, we getting deep. I know y'all Bible say women's gonna be birthing monsters. Well, what you think the Black Law Dictionary calls you human beings? Let's get into it. Y'all don't want to know the truth. You want to know lies so you can be the oppressor, the next ruler. Men, you red pill men. School is in session. School is in session. Go to court and think you gonna represent yourself. You don't even know what's popping. You think everything's everything. Black Laws Dictionary. What they call you in the Black Laws Dictionary? A monster. A sea monster. They call your baby you a monster. What kind of monster did she birth? It's a male monster. 5 pounds, 11 ounces. What time did she birth that monster? She birthed the monster around 11 o'clock. Here you go. Go before she go down there. Here, vessel. Sign on. They done gave a weaker vessel. She got to sign off that she done delivered the cargo. She signed away her baby's rights. The monster that they call, you call it a baby, they call it a monster. They call it a monster. In court, they call it a monster. She done delivered that monster. She done signed all the good paperwork. We own the monster. We're going to make her believe she owned the monster because she don't know and he don't know that they just gave away their rights as free human beings. Because you don't know nothing about nothing because you ain't studied. You just been regurgitating. Talking about the weaker vessel. Let's hear about it.
Vessel. Any craft designed for transportation on water or boat.
Hold on. Rewind.
Vessel. Any craft designed for transportation.
Let me know
on
if you
water,
can hear it.
Such as a ship or boat. A container of liquid, such as a glass, goblet, cup, bottle, bowl, or pitcher. A person as a container of qualities or feelings. Vessel synonyms: Wikisaurus vessel. V-E-S-S-E-L. Vessel.
Y'all hear that? Let's run it back. Let's run it back for the ones that's coming in late. Vessel, run it back.
Vessel. Any craft designed for transportation on water, such as a ship or boat. A container of liquid, such as a glass, goblet, cup, bottle, bowl, or pitcher. A person as a container of qualities or feelings. Vessel synonyms: Wikisaurus vessel. V-E-S-S-E-L. Vessel.
Vessel. Get it? Got it? I hope you did. I hope you're taking notes so you can learn something tonight. That's right. You don't know. You done heard the preacher man and coming to the pulpit, because this is a patriarchal society. This is run by men who have cherry picked what they want. I'm going to keep telling you what they want to put in this right here called the word, the living water. You don't even know where the original scripts come from. They say the woman's the weaker vessel. You just hear vessel. They tell you the woman's a weaker vessel. That's why Satan came to her. She the weaker vessel. This is a word play. This is a word play. You go to court. Vessel. Where Melanated got it. Google it. She pulled it up for us already. Let me go. A ship. Something that holds cargo. Wordplay. These people got you hypnotized. They got you hypnotized. Because you don't want to study. And I keep telling you to study. Vessel don't mean because she a doggone woman. It's just a smaller form of what you are, man. 2 cups. One bigger, one smaller. Women are normally, naturally, are the smaller, even in the animal kingdom, are the smaller vessel. You are the same. You are just, she's just smaller. She's just a little soft. Y'all like them soft women. Y'all know you like to rub up and hug up because she's soft. She's tender. She's soft. She's the softer, weaker vessel. You are on maritime. Well, you are actually, you are not at this particular point. I want to get it right. If I get it mixed up, I'll come back and correct it. On maritime law, okay? Law of the sea. Law of the sea. Vessel that you find in your Bible is what they're referring to you as a person. Because you are on the law of the sea, not the law of the land. They have put you on the law of the sea. When you are a soul, you have been birthed here. This is your domain, but they put you on the law of the sea. So that's why they can control your every move. They can sell you and move you as a property. So they have you operating under the law of the sea, and you are vessels. And when the woman gives birth, she goes to the dock like a ship, the dock of the bay, and gives birth, because you are under maritime law. And while you're under maritime law, you will be judged under that, and you are considered a monster, a sea monster. Human beings are considered a sea monster. Go get this book, not this one. Get the newer one. Black Laws Dictionary. Humans are considered to be sea monsters. So while you up here running around, and I'm talking to the men right now who haven't educated yourself further than the groups you attend. And the majority of those are red pill groups. because you have not educated yourself, you literally think the woman is the weaker vessel, as just vessel being her body, right? Just not knowing that the vessel is considered a ship. That's on maritime law. So even if you went to court, you go see the judge, and there's usually a bench, right? And there's usually, like, you enter into the gates, like when you enter into the dock, you enter into a gate. Now you have really entered into their domain. And so now you are being judged in the maritime law system, other than being judged as a rightful human being to this domain that you have been given the domain and rulership of. But not knowing the wordplay that they're doing in here and in your Bible, when they call the woman the vessel, because they are misogynist, and they are wanting to have they want you males to be and think misogynistically, as the woman is the weaker vessel in your Bible. But all they mean is she's just a smaller she's a tugboat and you are a ship, but you are one and the same, because they consider you vessels under maritime law. They steal your human rights and make you the doggone what is it? The crow, what's the man? What is it called? The scarecrow. A fictitious being, because you have not studied. And let me say this: there are so many men who have been hurt, who have been abused, and there's some that just doggone abusers, that instead of studying, because we are in the end times, and all this knowledge is abundant of how they have ran your society and ran you, bought and sold you, and gave you a fictitious name. Look at your ID card. Your name is in all caps. Look at your driver's license. Your name is in all caps. Look at it. Look at your birth certificate. Your name is in all caps. You might say, well, okay, my name is in all caps. What does that mean? Your property. You are property. So instead of studying, really studying in the full totality of it all, men, get out of these red pill groups, because you got men going around knocking women upside their heads, thinking they the stronger vessel and they running something. When your government, known as the corporation, has fooled you all, me included, until I woke up and started studying for myself. You don't want to believe that this book is misogynistic. I know. You don't. The Bible. You don't want to believe it. And I'm talking to men, because it helps you maintain some sort of authority. Well, guess who else it helped maintain authority, men? Oppression, men. Your slave masters used the same book. And then they took excerpts out of this book and made a smaller book called the Slave Bible. They used the same book for oppression, men. But you are preaching the woman is the weaker vessel. And you have no clue to what that actually means. You have no clue. Because the people who have taught you are misogynistic. And they want to oppress. They want to be the new slave master. I know You might think, oh, because I'm a woman and I'm saying it, because you haven't heard men come out and tell you the truth. You haven't heard men tell you to go study. The vessel that's in here, it tells you in here. It tells you on Google. It means a ship, a boat. Not because she's a woman and Satan could enter into the woman easily. You've been hoodwinked. Go get these books. You need more than the Bible. You need more than Enoch. You need more than a Jubilee. But do you really want to know? Or do you want to stay focused on this and the oppressive ways that come along with this because you were born as a male and you think it's your time? Or do you really want to know the truth? But some just can't handle the truth. Let me get that. Do you really want to know the truth? What was that movie? Just can't. You can't handle the truth. What was that? I don't even know the name of the movie. Let's see if we can. Let's get that scene. Some of y'all can't handle the truth. But you say you're teaching and you know why you say, you know why they don't want the woman to teach? Can you handle the truth? I don't know. Let's hear. I don't know. Let's see.
Bipolar one, I got help.
You get my scene up.
I got help to push back. We got help to push back with.
A moment ago, you said that you ordered Lieutenant Kendrick to tell his men that Santiago wasn't to be touched.
That's right.
And Lieutenant Kendrick was clear on what you wanted?
Crystal.
Some of y'all
Any
can't
chance
handle the
Lieutenant
truth.
Kendrick ignored the order?
Ignored the order?
Any chance he forgot about it?
No.
Any chance Lieutenant Kendrick left your office and said, the old man is wrong?
No.
When Lieutenant Kendrick spoke to the platoon and ordered them not to touch Santiago, any chance they ignored him?
Come on, get to my part.
You ever served in an infantry unit, son?
No, sir.
Ever served in a forward area?
No, sir.
Ever put your life in another
Have you ever
man's
really
hands?
studied
Asked him to put his
what's
life
going on in
yours?
this illusion?
We follow orders, son.
Are you
We
just
follow
following
orders
orders
or people die.
from Red Pill
It's
Group
that simple.
members,
Are we clear?
men?
Yes, sir.
Are we clear? Crystal.
Colonel, I have just one more question before I call Aaron.
One more question.
Rodriguez.
Men,
If you gave an order that Santiago wasn't to be
if
touched,
you look
and your
up
orders are
the
always
truth of what's going on here in this illusion,
then
could
why
you
would
handle it?
Santiago be in danger?
That's the question.
Why would it be
If
necessary
you look
to transfer him
about
off the
what's
base?
really going on in our word, could you handle the truth? Could you handle it?
Santiago was a substandard Marine. He was being transferred.
Not what you said. You said he was being transferred because he was in grave danger.
That's correct.
You said he was in danger. I said grave danger. You said, is
I
there any
recall what I
I
said.
can have the court reporter read back to you.
I know what I said. I don't have to have it read back to me like I'm
Why did you orders? Colonel?
Sometimes men take matters into their own hands.
Listen, you made it clear just a moment ago that your men never take matters in their own hands. Your men follow orders or people die. So Santiago shouldn't have been in any danger at all, should he have, Colonel?
You snotty little bastard.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess. I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
Come on, they can't handle the truth.
If Lieutenant Kendrick gave an order that Santiago wasn't to be touched, then why did he have to be transferred? Colonel, Lieutenant Kendrick ordered the code red, didn't he? Because that's what you told Lieutenant Kendrick to do. Object! When it went bad, you cut these guys loose. Your Honor, you have murderers inside a body transfer. Your Honor, you got the logbook. Did I can't orthodox Colonel Justice, give your order the code red.
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
There it is.
son, we live in a world that has walls, and those walls have...
You can't handle the truth. A lot of you men can't handle it because you don't want to know the truth. You are happy in the lies of the land. Mm-hmm. You're happy in it. You go research vessel and what it really means and what it really stands for and what it really means in the society that you are in right now, this illusion that you're in, that you have to participate in because they still, require you to have a driver's license, they still require certain aspects of you in this illusion. But we are in the golden era now. I told you guys that beginning of, what was it, last month, the 15th. I told you we're here. Everything you want to know is before you. You have to go and study. There's no more hiding. It's coming out. You heard your pastors, you heard these red pill brothers, and you've heard other people. Even women, you've heard. You are the weaker vessel, and you don't even know the origin of that. I just broke it down for you tonight. But if I was to break down more of the oppressive nature, and trust me, I believe a lot of stuff that is in the scriptures, but I also am wise enough to know that this has been cherry picked. It has been written as a novel, and it has been written in the benefit of man for the oppression of women. I've heard women are to be quiet in the church is in this Bible, in this book, whichever Bible you have. And I might touch on that. Women, I'm just writing this down. Women are to be quiet in the church. Are to be quiet in the church. Right. Do you know why? In the church. Do you know why that is said? Women are to be quiet in the church. Let's see. I think it's Paul. Which book of the Bible speaks of women to be quiet in the church? We're going to find out why it says that. Women to be quiet in the church. Because they use that a lot. And they try to refer that for women not to teach. Let me see. Now, I haven't looked at some of these people's. Timothy. Is it 1 Timothy? Let me see. You write this down because I got to go look it up to make sure myself. I thought it was Paul talking about women are to be quiet in the church. Let's hear what this man has to say.
Does Paul really mean that women should always be silent in church? We're going to read about that and a little bit more today in 1 Timothy chapter 2.
Okay, so it's 1 Timothy, but it's Paul who wrote about this. Women should be silent. We're going to break it down. We're going to hear what the brother had to say. Let's hear what this brother had to say.
Together. This is the channel that takes you through the New Testament, one chapter a day. We want to be your guides and help you see the New Testament with understanding. And in that, we want you to hear from Jesus as we read together.
Yeah,
today is a crazy day. This chapter has some language that has caused a lot of division and a lot of
we're moving on to women should be quiet in the church.
Churches. So I'm going to walk you through it, and I'm going to explain to you kind of some common interpretations of it, and we'll go from there. All right, let's pray, and then we're going to read. God, we are humbled by you. We come before you today, and we just ask you to be with us as we read, that you are present with each of us as we're connected around the globe through this medium, Lord. God, we pray that you speak to us, that you show us your heart in the midst of what might be complicated theological questions. We want to see you, we want to know you, we want to grow in you, and be shaped and formed and challenged into the people we need to be. Thank you for your word, and thank you for the ability to read it freely. In your name we pray. Amen. 1 Timothy chapter 2.
And hold on, before he even, okay, we're going to commercial. Because before he even go into 1 Timothy chapter 2, he's talking about Paul. I couldn't remember what book it is. It's in 1 Timothy. And he's going to chapter 2.
First of all,
Paul is talking about women should be quiet in church. Because you hear this, and men use this because this tool of oppression, that how it's been written, it's a tool of oppression, and the oppression has been used to for slavery and the oppression of women. Okay, and so you hear men say women should be quiet in church. Now, that is, I'm going to give you what I know, and then we can hear this brother man. And this is the first time I've heard his breakdown. I'm gonna try to listen to some other breakdowns. Okay, but this is because Paul was talking and giving a sermon, and the women were, and I think I talked about this before, were talking and asking, well, what was going on, or something. They just talking too much in church. Literally talking too much in church. And this is when Paul says, be quiet in the church. Women shouldn't speak in church. Learn from your husband at home. That's the questions that you're asking, all these questions. I'm trying to get through my sermon. You're talking too much. Ask your questions at home. Let's hear what he has to say.
Then I urge that petitions, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgivings be made for everyone, for kings and all those who are in authority, so that we may lead a tranquil and quiet life in all godliness and dignity. This is good, and it pleases God, our Savior, who wants everyone to be saved and to come to the knowledge of the truth. For there is one God and one mediator between God and humanity, the man, Christ Jesus, who gave himself as a ransom for all, a testimony at the proper time. For this I was appointed a herald, an apostle. I am telling the truth. I am not lying. And a teacher of the Gentiles in faith and truth. Therefore, I want the men in every place to pray, lifting up holy hands without anger or argument. Also, women are to dress themselves in modest clothing and decency and good sense, not with elaborate hairstyles, gold, pearls, or expensive apparel, but with good works, as is proper for women who profess to worship God. A woman is to learn quietly with full submission. I do not allow a woman to teach or to have authority over a man. Instead, she is to remain quiet. For Adam was formed first, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman was deceived and transgressed. But she will be saved through childbearing, if they continue in faith, love, and holiness with good sense. All right, this chapter starts with Paul telling Timothy that they have to get together and pray for their leaders, to pray for peace in the land. This peace creates an environment that is conducive for the continuing of the spread of the gospel. That's what Paul says. This is good, and it pleases God. Why? Why does it please God? Well, he says, because God wants everyone to be saved and to come to the knowledge of the truth. God wants everyone to come to the knowledge of the truth. this is directly applicable to us today. Currently, both the speakers on this channel, Jared and I, we're from the United States, and here in the U.S., we enjoy the privilege of living out our Christian faith and sharing it with others. So we should pray for our government, and we should pray for its leaders, that peace in this land only increases and doesn't diminish. That can create an environment for us that it's good for us to live out our faith and to share the good news of Jesus with others. That's honestly my main takeaway from this chapter. That's the thing I want to implement in my life, is to remember to pray for my leaders. But today we do have something that is a bit of a theological issue we need to discuss. The second half of this chapter, there's a discussion on men and women. We're going to go into that briefly. But first, before we go there, I want us to remember that this book is a fight against a group of false teachers. We don't know exactly what these false teachers were teaching, but we see Paul's response. At a very minimum, some of this book is clearly specific for that time and place, and may not be directly applicable to every time and place. For instance, in chapter 5, Paul tells Timothy that no widow younger than 60 should be part of their program to help widows. So today, if we set up a widow support system within our churches, do you think we should be required to use an age of 60 as some type of threshold for helping them? No, that doesn't make any sense. We are going to use wisdom that we have and make a system that is best in our space and our time. We have to understand that at a minimum, this and maybe some other things in this chapter are Paul saying specific things for this situation where he's combating these false teachings. It's our job as a church to discern what this letter means for us today and what things are universally applicable.
I want to emphasize this. This is a letter. Paul has written this letter, and I want to emphasize this again, and to the point that he made. He is speaking to a period in time, okay? And in that period in time, when he spoke about the elderly woman and how and when they should address or be in the church, or that was at that period in time, okay? And so, like I said, the word has been cherry picked, and people are taking Paul's writings and trying to insert this letter into our particular time and space, okay, when it was addressing some heretics, okay, and women talking too much.
There's a couple of sentences here that have been a real source of division in the church. Let me read them. Paul says, I do not allow a woman to teach or to have authority over a man. Instead, she is to remain quiet. And then in the next verse he says, for Adam was formed first, and then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman was deceived and transgressed. All right. There's three ways that this gets interpreted. Well, there's all sorts of variants, but these are pretty much the three big bins. Number one, you have this idea that Paul's saying that women should never teach or lead. They should be quiet. And in fact, the comments that he makes about Adam and Eve are actually pointing out that this is the way God has established things from the beginning, a male hierarchy. And this plays out in church that women should always remain silent. I'm not personally sympathetic to this view because it seems that Paul actually encourages women to speak and even prophesy in church in some of his other letters. Okay, the second big bin. Some churches believe that statements about remaining quiet were culturally specific, likely because women were not educated as they are today. And when educated, women are welcome to teach and lead in many contexts. But overall, many of these churches still see a requirement for male leadership in the church due to the statements about Adam and Eve and some cross-references in other books. Many good churches fall into this category, and we would call them complementarian, meaning men and women have different but complementary roles in the church. And lastly, there are churches that recognize the occasional nature of this letter, meaning it was written for a specific occasion, in this case, combating some specific false teaching. And they think that this section only applies to the women in Ephesus, where Timothy was leading it, because
wrote the letter.
they had adopted the false teaching that these false teachers were spreading. These churches usually think about the comments about Adam and Eve, the second verse I read. They usually look at that as just a comparison about how women have been deceived by the false teachers, just as the first woman, Eve, was deceived. These churches are called egalitarian, and there's many wonderful churches that are egalitarian. They welcome men and
wait a
women.
minute, let me say this really quick.
This.
A lot of people don't even know that there are the sounds like a whole bunch of gay men. Well, let me say this. I mentioned this before, that although this Bible does have some of what is in the Dead Sea Scrolls and Sumerian text, it was written and has been still under the control of Rome, okay? And under the control of Rome, a lot of people, even men, don't even realize the mega homosexuality that took place in Rome. Okay, how the Roman men, even if you go and look up, even from their artwork, the Roman men preferred young boys in their bathhouses. When you look up Rome, and you have to understand that America is spiritual Egypt. America is spiritual Rome, because just like Rome fell, people think Rome really fell. No, Rome is still alive and well, but it is more under the spiritual guidance of Rome. And Rome is has its hands all up and through this Bible. And Rome was very much a homosexual government, okay? Even if you look up the origins of how gyms, men like to go work out in gyms and get buff and strong. Well, your gyms also come from the Roman society. And you see, in the Roman society, they had the men wrestle, and in the gyms that men were only in attendance. Young men to old men were only in attendance in these gyms that you know of today, started in Rome, where they would wrestle naked. Okay, Rome has a very, very heavy overtone of homosexuality, and it is leached into this, and it is also this is why there's a lot of oppressive guidance in this, and he just broke down the three churches, or three faith systems that like to teach about the women being quiet, when Paul was writing a letter at the time of when he was saying women should not teach, women should, because and then also Eve was deceived and not man. And from that oppressive overall guidance from Rome, you hear, and I'm going to run it back in a few minutes, you hear this this oppressive nature come out in scriptures. And a lot of people don't realize that the Bible is a part of Roman scholarship, okay? Although they've used the Dead Sea Scrolls. And then I'm gonna share something very shocking with you all. Not only the Dead Sea Scrolls, I've told you guys about Samaria, and we don't have to recap the full broadcast, but I told you guys about Samaria and how Samaria is really the first birthplace of writings, where we have all of what we know from the Bible and the Dead Sea Scrolls that was in Samaria, okay? And how you may have heard there, Jesus' name didn't exist because the J wasn't around. Well, vowels wasn't around, and they got a lot of the text from the Hebrew writings off of the Dead Sea Scrolls and off of the Sumerian tablets as well. Well, all of that was found in Samaria, okay? And all of the names that are actually in here were not the original names, my people, my peeps. Every name, even down to Jesus, were not the original name. They didn't have Paul. Who? Paul? We're talking about ancient times gods. Paul and Timothy, and these names were changed, okay? Just like they took Hebrews into slavery and they brought them over here on slave ships. What did they do to separate the connection between the homeland and the writings and the native tongue and language? They stripped those people of their original names. So the names that are in here are not, even Enoch, that is not Enoch's original name, okay? That is the name that we have been taught. So when we finish this, I'm going to let you listen to some shocking more information, because this is the time of waking up. You are in the golden era, okay? And you are in the end times, and knowledge is abundant. It is up to you if you want to understand. These names are not the original name. Noah's name is not Noah from your Hebrew, from the Dead Sea Scrolls. Even, people like to say that the Ethiopians have the oldest Bible. They have the oldest writings even from Samaria. Okay, Samaria is the oldest and the beginning of language. Okay, so let's finish up with Paul and how these different groups, these different churches, the different teachings that you hear are based on the how can I say this? The curriculum that those churches want to preach. Okay? And when I say curriculum, I want you to understand everything is not just happenstance. Okay? Even when you pick a college, okay? When you pick a college that is accredited, not just a Joe Blow college just to get a degree, and that degree really means nothing because the school itself is not an accredited college. Okay? The school itself is not certified, if you will. Even if when you pick these colleges, the college has its own curriculum, and that curriculum is based off of their own agenda. Okay, their own agenda. So if you and your family wanted your child to go to Berkeley, well, Berkeley has an agenda. Berkeley is just not a college just to go get information. I want to be a doctor. No, Berkeley is going to teach you how to cut open and do a heart transplant or whatever your field of study may be. But the underlying curriculum base has an agenda attached to it. Just like Yale, just like all of these other colleges, they have an agenda to their curriculum. So just like the teachings that you hear, they have their own agenda to the curriculum that you are hearing. Okay? And so that's why it is very important that you understand the difference between vessels that come out of the Black Law Dictionary and who you are as monsters here. Curriculums, agendas, and the overall of it all is Rome, and Rome must fall. Okay, so we want to hear Paul, and this man is just broke down the 3 ways churches they preach this based on their underlying curriculum, their base agenda. Okay, let me see what you're saying. Show how they were walking like dogs. Peter and Paul went up to the mountain to teach them how to behave. More thoughts. Okay, so let's finish this really quick, and I'm going to rewind it a little bit.
Same exact roles in church as equals. So where do I stand?
Okay, hold on. Let me rewind that really quick.
Doesn't really matter much.
Hold on. So we're talking about women
the occasional
being quiet
nature
in
of this
church,
letter.
the women
Meaning it
being
was written for a specific
deceived.
occasion. In this case, combating some specific false teaching. And they think that this section only applies to the women in Ephesus, where Timothy was leading, because they had adopted the false teaching that these false teachers were spreading. These churches usually think about the comments about Adam and Eve, the second verse I read. They usually look at that as just a comparison about how women have been deceived by the false teachers, just as the first woman, Eve, was deceived. These churches are called egalitarian.
Egalitarian. The first church is called egalitarian teachings.
They welcome men and women in all of the same exact roles in church as equals. So where do I stand? Well, honestly, that doesn't really matter much for us today.
Let me go back a little bit more so you can hear the other 2. I didn't go back far enough.
Eve and some cross.
Hold on.
3 big bins. Number 1, you have this idea that Paul's saying that women should never teach or lead. They should be quiet. And in fact, the comments that he makes about Adam and Eve are actually pointing out that this is the way God has established things from the beginning, a male hierarchy. And this plays out in church that women should always remain silent. I'm not personally sympathetic to this view because it seems that Paul actually encourages women to speak and even prophesy in church in some of his other letters.
Yes,
okay,
he did. He did prophesy that women will prophesy.
Statements about remaining quiet were culturally specific, likely because women were not educated as they are today. And when educated, women are welcome to teach and lead in many contexts. But overall, many of these churches still see a requirement for male leadership in the church due to the statements about Adam and Eve and some cross-references in other books. Many good churches fall into this category, and we would call them complementarian, meaning men and women have different but complementary roles in the church. And lastly, there are churches that recognize the occasional nature of this letter, meaning it was written for a specific occasion. In this case, combating some specific false teaching. And they think that this section only applies to the women in Ephesus, where Timothy was leading, because they had adopted the false teaching that these false teachers were spreading. These churches usually think about the comments about Adam and Eve, the second verse I read. They usually look at that as just a comparison about how women have been deceived by the false teachers, just as the first woman, Eve, was deceived. These churches are called egalitarian.
Egalitarian.
And there's many wonderful churches that are egalitarian. They welcome men and women in all of the same exact roles in church as equals. So where do I stand? Well, honestly, that doesn't really matter much for us today. One of these days, we'll probably put out a video on women in leadership, but not for the purpose of fighting or drawing division amongst churches, but rather for the purpose of clarifying our doctrine as a local church.
Okay. Hold on. So I missed the first name. I didn't write it down, y'all. But like I was saying, like I was saying, break the code. Break the code. Let me see, did I miss something? Oh, yes, names have been changed. And I thought, because I was listening to, I have it right here. It early, because I just said Enoch's name was changed. And I'm going to give you the name, his real name, Enoch, which comes from the Sumerian information. And I'm going to try to pull up that video so you guys can hear of that as well. But I'm gonna run this back one more time because I didn't write down myself the different teachings, like I just broke down. Different colleges have different agendas. Their curriculum is different. Even your schools, even when you put your children in schools in different states, their curriculum it's different. And I know people think everything is everything, but it is not. Everything is not just everything. You're not just born and everybody is on the same sheet of music. Everybody and these hierarchies are jockeying for position and authority and power in the way that they feel that they want people to learn, people to how much education or the lack of education a person should have, because it's about what? Power and control and oppression. Okay. And so when you are over and you have an agenda and you have the power to open schools and make these schools prestigious schools, and just by sometimes just by saying I went to Yale, I'm a Yale graduate, I'm a Harvard graduate, will open doors of opportunity for you in certain corporations, because those corporations are on the same wavelength, the same understanding as the schools and that these people attended. And it's not only just because these people have been a part of Skull and Bones. That now don't side note that too much, because that does play a part because of these secret fraternities and sororities also that are affiliated with the schools, but that is not the whole of the matter, because the school has an agenda, it has a curriculum, and that is what they're going to teach on top of teaching the regular academics of it all. Okay. But the name of that school will open doors in different arenas in the job fields, right? Berkeley in California will open doors in different arenas, different areas. Okay, because the people who might have gone to Berkeley themselves and open up businesses, they have been indoctrinated from the agenda of Berkeley. So they're going to have the mindset of Berkeley. And you walk in the door for an interview and you on your resume, and I say I went to Berkeley, and I see Berkeley graduate class of whatever, and so you come in, so you've gone to Berkeley, huh? That's interesting. Yeah, and let you talk, and then you it's already a check mark. It's already a check mark. It's greenlit. It's greenlit. And then don't let her go down or he go down the rest of your resume and see that you was Skull and Bones, or I don't know what they have for the women. but I'm sure it's some kind of name of some society. You know, don't let that be on your resume, because you know when you go to college, they always talking about what's your extracurricular activities that you did. What kind of groups were you affiliated with? Oh, you understand now? So don't get it twisted. It's the same as this Bible. It's the same as the Bible, y'all. It's time to wake up and open your eyes. Rome has his grubby paws all over this word. And so the churches that teach in their particular curriculum, I have to get the first one, but the second one was complementary churches. And the third one was egalitarian churches, where women are equal. Let me get the first one real quick so I can have that in my notes. So y'all bear with me because I didn't write it down.
Bins. Number one, you have this idea that Paul's saying that women should never teach or lead. They should be quiet. And in fact, the comments that he makes about Adam and Eve are actually pointing out that this is the way God has established things from the beginning, a male hierarchy. And this plays out in church that women should always remain silent. I'm not personally sympathetic to this view because it seems that Paul actually encourages women to speak and even prophesy in church in some of his other letters. Okay, the second big bin. Some churches believe that statements about remaining quiet were culturally specific, likely because women were not educated as they are today. And when educated, women are welcome to teach and lead in many contexts. But overall, many of these churches still see a requirement for male leadership in the church due to the statements about Adam and Eve and some cross-references in other books. Many good churches fall into this category, and we would call them complementarian, meaning men and women have make a system that is best in our space and our time. We have to understand that at a minimum, this and maybe some other things in this chapter are Paul saying specific things for this situation where he's combating these false teachings. It's our job as a church to discern what this letter means for us today and what things are universally applicable. There's a couple of sentences here that have been a real source of division in the church. Let me read them. Paul says, I do not allow a woman to teach or to have authority over a man. Instead, she is to remain quiet. And then in the next verse he says, for Adam was formed first, and then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman was deceived and transgressed. All right. There's three ways that this gets interpreted. Well, there's all sorts of variants, but these are pretty much the three big bins. Number one, you have this idea that Paul's saying that women should never teach or lead. They should be quiet. And in fact, the comments that he makes about Adam and Eve are actually pointing out that this is the way God has established things from the beginning, a male hierarchy. And this plays out in church that women should always remain silent. I'm not personally sympathetic to this view because it seems that Paul actually encourages women to speak and even prophesy in church in some of his other letters. Okay, the second big bin. Some churches believe that statements about remaining quiet were culturally specific, likely because women were not educated as they are today. And when educated, women are welcome to teach and lead in many contexts.
We have a name for it, y'all.
But overall, many of these churches still see a requirement for male leadership in the church due to the statements about Adam and Eve and some cross-references in other books. Many good churches fall into this category, and we would call them complementarian, meaning men and women have different but complementary roles in the church. And lastly, there are churches that recognize the occasional nature of this letter, meaning it was written for a specific occasion. In this case, combating some specific false teaching. And they think that this section only applies to the women in Ephesus, where where Timothy was leading, because they had adopted the false teaching that these false teachers were spreading. These churches usually think about the comments about Adam and Eve, the second verse I read. They usually look at that as just a comparison about how women have been deceived by the false teachers, just as the first woman, Eve, was deceived.
Okay, so we're gonna move on because I touched about. So you got the breakdown. Just like there's different curriculums in colleges, just like every so-called denomination, their teachings are going to vary from how they view their the curriculum that comes from how they teach this Bible. And their curriculum, I'm using that term so you'll just keep it simple for everybody to understand. Different denominations have their way of understanding and breaking down the scriptures, okay, and how they use them for also their benefits as well. Okay, so the egalitarians, he talked about the complementary churches, and the first one, I didn't catch your name. I'm gonna just have to listen to this again, and then I'm gonna write it down, and I'll update y'all on that. They have their different ways of teaching this because it's their curriculum. Okay, it's how they want to push this word and use it either as a real teachable tool or use it as a teachable tool with the underlying agenda of oppression. Okay, because we have to understand, why do people say the Bible is not real? Because there's so many contradictions in here because of how it was written, and it was written with the control of Rome still hovering over all of the editing that took place in this word. So like he said, even though you hear Paul write a letter to the people in Ephesus at the time of what was going on in Ephesus about the false prophets, the false teachings, and all of that, that letter was for them, and how he said in that letter for the women to be quiet because whatever was going on at the time in Ephesus, that letter went out, but that letter became scripture. Okay? But Paul also wrote how women will be prophesying, and women will be teaching. It's all about the curriculum and who is teaching the word, okay? And how they want you to understand their what? What's the magic? Let me not say magic. Oh, it's a witch. How they want you to understand their curriculum, okay? That is where we're at with that. Okay, so like I said, all names have been changed in this Bible. Okay, these are not the original names people in this Bible. Just like the Hebrews that were captured and brought over here in captivity did not retain their original name, nor did they retain their original language. They were stripped of all of that. When the editing of this word took place, the names were changed. Okay? Paul was not walking around in the heat of the day in Africa because his melanin was not popping like they have you see on some of these movies you watch. Okay? There was not a Paul walking around with the name of Paul. Okay? In the heat of the African desert. Because Paul didn't have no sunscreen with that name. That name sounds like you need some sunscreen associated with you. Okay? Those names in the Bible have been changed. So I reference Enoch a lot. Enoch's name has been changed as well. That is not Enoch's original name. Okay? Enoch's name is, and then I'm going to try to pronounce it now. Let me pull up the video. It's ADAPA. I'm going to put it in the chat so that you can understand and see for yourself what Enoch's name is. Adapa. 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 If I'm saying it right. So I'm going to put it in the chat for you guys. Where's my pen? Oh, here. And then I'm going to pull up the video because this is going to get deep. If you don't want to go deep, if you don't want to learn, please leave now. Please leave now because I don't want to blow your mind with knowledge you might not be ready for. I'm going to put it in all caps. This is Enoch's real name from Sumerian text. Okay. Did I spell it right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So there you go. It is in the chat. That is Enoch's real name. So let's get this video. Let me pull it up for you. We're going to go deep. This might be too deep for you because I know with how a lot of people have been taught, they don't want to learn anything new. And especially if they think it is time for them to have the upper oppressive hand and it's their turn and they got next and they want to be the oppressor and they really don't understand that that's actually what they're excited to be. It's not walking in righteousness, but walking in with an oppressive mindset. Okay? So
Have a cat?
I got it.
Stop scooping cat
pull it
litter
up.
with Litter Robot, the highest rated self-cleaning litter box that
This
removes
is
the
going
chores
to
quickly
blow
and helps you
your
have a cleaner
mind
home.
about
After your
Enoch.
cat exits, Litter
Listen up. I'm going to say this one more again. These are not my words. This is because of what I studied. Okay, I do not go and I have not gone and changed anything in this book. But you best believe this book has been edited several times over. Okay, and it has been written with an oppressive undertone to it. And the oppression, the undertone, one of them is an oppression of women. I know men don't want to hear that, but it is true. This oppression is the ghost of Rome. Okay, Rome is based off a homosexual society of men in rulership, and that is leeching and has leached and has clinged on to a lot of leaders of today, and they really do not understand that they are being seduced and controlled by a homosexual spirit of Rome that has its paws in the editing of the scriptures. Okay, and especially when I broke down before how this Bible mentions that man and woman were created at the same time. Okay, and then when you go to different parts in Genesis alone, how then all of a sudden Eve comes from Adam's rib. Okay, and how if you did any study, and if you haven't done any study, you may have heard of a woman called Lilith, and that's because many people have heard that man and woman were created at the same time. And with this oppressive behavior of the spirit of Rome, Rome could not have the understanding that man and woman were actually created at the same time. So they demonized the first creation of woman that was created with man and called her Lilith and said that she was cast out of the Garden of Eden because she did not want to obey. And you might want to know what did she not want to obey? These women are so hard-headed. What did what? Eve is biting the fruit and she was told not to. The first wife, she got kicked out the garden because she didn't want to obey. Well, what did she want to obey? Well, if you go back and you study about Lilith, the woman that was created when Adam was created, the Roman Catholic Church and writers of your word uh, took her out of the picture. And because she was not submissive to her husband in a sexual manner, yes, that is the reason. I know it might be shocking if you've never heard that before, but Adam's first wife, known as Lilith, did not want to lay down. Now, this is their writings, not mine. I'm not making this up. You can go research it for yourself. We know that from the word, why everybody just says this book's so contradicting of it in and of itself is because man and woman was created at the same time. Even in Genesis, the God said he created both at the same time and called them Adam. So man and woman were called Adam. But then you go back a chapter or two, Adam called Eve, named Eve, but God named them Adam. Okay, and they were created at the same time, which was said in the beginning and a little bit after Eve was created. God still said, I called them Adam. This is the generation of Adam. I called him and her Adam. Okay, they said that Lilith, his first wife, did not want to be sexually submissive to Adam by laying down during intercourse. And so for that and her not obeying her husband during intercourse, this is why Lilith was kicked out of the Garden of Eden and turned into a demon. Okay? And she's gone, and then God created your Eve. And then Eve was hard-headed as well. So they're constantly, from your Roman oppressive nature and their homosexual ways, are constantly trying to make the woman the disobedient one. They're constantly trying to not, first of all, give any kind of how can I say this? Acknowledgement to the truth of the situation that the man and woman were created at the same time because they wanted to establish a hierarchy for the man. I know coming from a woman, I sound like I'm just trying to break down the whole system of how it's set up and how God set it up. This is not so. This is how the Roman Catholic Church set it up. Okay? And took out Adam's first wife, said she was a demon because she didn't want to listen during sexual intercourse to her husband, kicked her out, and gave Adam a new wife. Adam's new wife was hard-headed and ate from the tree of knowledge. Okay? And the tree of knowledge was not just the apple. The tree of life and knowledge was not just the apple. It was knowledge. But even that story, are you ready for your minds to be blown? I don't know if you're ready. This is not coming from me. This is not coming from me. This is coming from studies that you can do yourself. Okay? Even Eve did not disobey. Wait a minute. I know you almost choked because I almost choked. The writings in the Bible are condol. I don't want to even say that. The writings in the Bible are manipulated, okay, to set up a hierarchy. Now, that's not to say that there's not a hierarchy that is set up. I'm talking about in this realm, in this illusion that we're in, to set up this hierarchy. The words from your Dead Sea Scrolls and the Sumerian tablets were manipulated. And unless you do the studying, you won't know that. Unless you do the studying, you won't know that even all of the names were changed, okay? Now, I say that because I put in the chat that Enoch's name is not Enoch. It is Adapal. It is Adapal, okay? That is Enoch's real name. Now, I'm going to take you further back because I know that if you've done any studying of your own, trying to find knowledge and understanding, and for a lot of Black people that started waking up, I would say maybe 80s, late 80s, 90s, and up into the 2000s, when they first started waking up, a lot of them, they started to cling to the teachings and understanding of Egypt, because when we found out Egypt is in Africa, just like Egypt, like Africa, like the Middle East, Iraq, Iran, all of that is Africa, okay? It is no such thing as the Middle East. But when a lot of Blacks, when they started waking up in the late 80s, 90s to 2000s, a lot of them were, really keen on learning about Egypt and all of the studies and writings on Egypt, especially when they learned that Egypt is in Africa, Kemet, right? And so you heard them saying Kemet and the land of the Blacks and this and that. But even though that there are Black folks in Africa, there's still different tribes, still different countries and things like that. And they weren't looking at that as a bigger picture, right? But one of their learnings, one of the teachings that a lot of people who woke up to that knowledge also found out about the Ankh, okay? And I'm going to draw it for you. If you never seen, instead of the cross, about the Ankh life, right? Something like this, y'all. Just bear with my drawing. This is just for your understanding. So they learned about the Ankh instead of the cross. And I have to break this down because this is mind-blowing. And when I share this with you, I want for you to do your own study. Because I'm sure for people who don't and won't do their own study, they'll listen to people and people probably say, I'm trying to lead you astray, and I'm not. You must do your own study, okay? So they learned about, let me cover this up. When they woke up, they learned about this right here. About the woman, giving life. This is life, the woman's womb, the male phallus down here, right? So this is in Egypt. They learned about this. The woman is part of life, okay? Her womb, life-giving, bringing life into the world. The cross part, the male, the phallus, right? They learned about that. This is better than the cross. Your Christians said Jesus, he died on the cross. Well, see, your cross comes from Rome. This is not actually what he died on or what he was so-called pierced on, right? But you see people wearing this on their chest to this day, the cross symbol. Well, what happened to the woman? Where is because see this was all over Egypt, all over the walls of Egypt, the the balance, the woman and the man, the womb and the phallus, the woman and the man, all over Egypt, right? Black people can get down with that. We understand that. That's life-giving. But your Catholics came in and said Jesus was crucified on a cross. Well, you see, your Roman Catholics, they came in, they took out the woman. And all you had is a male representation here. They took out the woman, and all you have by your cross that you bear on your chest, on your chains and your necklaces, is a male representation. The dominancy of the male, the homosexuality of Rome, the male figure only. When Egypt knew that the woman and the male were vital together. So that's why you have the Ankh. That's what the Ankh represents, okay? But your Roman Catholic Church has tried to almost demonize the woman in and of herself, right? And so, with that being said, if you go further into past, okay, if you and like I said, the blacks, when they was waking up, they woke up and Egypt was a thing. But they also woke up to not only the Ankh, they also, you probably heard people, you probably started hearing men talk about the woman is God, right? Let me see if I can draw it. Wait a minute. You probably also started hearing men talk about the woman is God, the woman is God, the woman is God from Egypt teaching. So I'm gonna try to draw this out. It's not the best. This is also a representation of heaven and life, okay? And why you would hear that the woman is God. I am just a messenger. Do not shoot the messenger. Okay? This is when our brothers and sisters first started waking up and learned about the Ankh, represents life, the woman's womb, the man's phallus. Listen up, people. These people in ancient times were grown. So I hope that you're grown and your mind is stable enough to handle grown conversations, okay? The woman's womb, the man's phallus. The Roman Catholic Church came in and said, no, we're homosexuals. We like men. We like boy toys. Jesus died on a cross, and this is a male symbol. They took out the oval, the womb, representing the woman, and now this is a male-dominated state, and this is the cross that your Jesus died upon. Okay? This is what black folks started learning in the late 80s, 90s. They also learned, or they also heard of the woman is God. Where did that come from? There's a picture that you probably can look up. This is just kind of a half kind of drawing of this picture, guys. So, have you ever seen a drawing something like this out of Egypt? I don't know if I have it on. So this is like, it's like a woman who's bent over, kind of over, and then there's stars all up in the woman's body. Oh my gosh. I just had a oh my gosh. What is this picture called? Hold on, y'all. What is this picture called? I don't even know what this. What is the Egyptian picture of the woman with the stars in her body representing the sky? Oh my gosh. What is this picture called? Does anybody know this picture? Oh my goodness. Oh. I ain't tripping, y'all. I got the picture right here. What is this called? I'm gonna show you guys. Oh my gosh.
Long ago in Egyptian mythology.
That I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna finish. But I have to get something to show y'all. I don't know. God be talking to me, y'all, in different and puzzle pieces. And this just hit me. I mean, OMG. Oh my goodness. Where is that? Where's my book at? Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. I was trying to break down something to you guys, and something just hit me, and I'm going to explain that in a few minutes. I'm going to let y'all look at this picture. Okay, I was just trying to explain this drawing, my bad drawing of this sky as a woman with stars in it. I don't even know if I want to go any further because I think I need to digest what just hit me. I think I need to that was like an overload of information. It just hit me, y'all. It just hit me. Do y'all remember this? Y'all know this book that I have right here? Y'all remember this book? If you've been following me, my dream book. Remember the last dream I talked about when the light was shining from my chest? Y'all remember this dream book? This stuff just hit me like a ton of freaking bricks. Oh my goodness. I can't make this up, y'all. I cannot make it up. Do y'all remember this dream? Yeah, I'm gonna get to it if I can even finish my thought. Y'all remember this dream that came long before? Did I date this? I don't even know if I dated it. I had this dream before I moved over here. And I said that I was in space. Y'all remember this dream? I said I was in space, and it was a big picture, a big image right here. And remember, this was me in space, and I saw this big image, right? And in the dream, I wrote it out, and I wrote the what I seen in this. I wrote this out, right? It is blowing me away. And I was in space, and at the time I thought it was my grandmother, guys. I thought it was my grandmother because this image in space, it's not talking, it's not verbally speaking to me. I can feel it. This being in space is familiar to me. Okay. And it's moving its hand up and down its chest. Now, I told my mom this dream, and it's moving its hand up and down its chest. And I thought it was my grandmother because my grandmother passed away of breast cancer. I never met her. And so I thought it was my grandmother because it was the being in space was moving its hand up and down its chest. And you can see as I tried to draw the picture, I tried to draw the arm in that position. But then you also see I drew all of these little stars inside of the being. First, when I first saw it, it was solid black, like the sky, because we're in space. Imagine go outside if it's night and look up in the sky. I was in space, and this being showed up, right, in my dream, and it was all black. But then, as I'm in space right here with the being, it starts moving its hand up and down its chest. But then I look into its body, and it's full of stars. And I know that this being felt female. And that's why I thought it was my grandmother, right? But when I looked into its body, it was full of stars, y'all. It was full of stars. And so I looked, I mean, just tons of stars was in this being's body. And when I looked at the stars, I knew that the stars represented family. It was like my family. So it's so crazy. I drew this so many years ago. I had this dream. And so I'm talking to you guys about Rome and how Rome has tried to inseminate its homosexual spirit into the gospel by eliminating the woman, and how when Black people of America and around the world, but Black people in America started waking up, they started waking up to who they are. And it started with Egypt and the Ankh, and then there was a picture that was very popular, and it was trying to describe, because they kept saying, the woman is God, the woman is God. These men and women were saying that when they were learning about Egypt. And then there was a picture along this line right here showing like it represented a woman that was bent over, but her body was full of stars as the night sky. Y'all, something just hit me, and I have to digest this. So I'm not gonna say it just yet, but we're gonna go into the Egyptian mythology of why they say the woman is God. And I have to go here because before we go further into Enoch and how they changed the name of Enoch, and how Rome and their gay agenda to inseminate their oppression via their homosexual tendencies, via the Bible and the text, the Sanskrit scrolls and the Sumerian tablets, have indoctrinated many men, and we have some issues with mind control and how they are trying to eliminate the woman and the very, very important role that women play here in this realm and this illusion in this matrix as we know it. She is far more useful than a birthing buddy. Okay, so let's get into this. I'm gonna set y'all up so y'all can watch this. This is my first time watching this particular Egyptian mythology, but I wanted to show you the picture of the woman that I tried to draw here as the sky, and why men and women kept saying the woman is God. Okay, hold on for a minute. We're breaking this down in steps, so if you bear with me, so I can get y'all situated. Oh my goodness. Okay, so hold on. Turn you guys around really quick. My head is pumping. That was a huge download. I don't have any other words to explain it. My finger is like froze because I can't believe. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're gonna get into this. Can y'all see that? I need to bring it up some more. I have not looked at this, but it looked like the picture I was trying to show you guys. Hold on. So there's a woman with stars in her body. Even and before you get it twisted, because I know how folks love to do. You're looking at the stars. Even the Most High said the woman is in the stars, running from the dragon. The moon is under her feet. So y'all better get into the understanding what you reading. Okay, so we're about to break down why these folks kept hollering, black folks kept hollering, the woman is God. I don't know this particular mythology video about Egypt, but we're going to get into it, and I'm going to see if it's going in the route I want to point out to you guys. Let's go.
The gods ruled the universe with their divine abilities and unparalleled powers. Among these gods, there was a goddess of great importance called Nut, the goddess of the sky. Nut's story begins with the birth of the gods. His father, the god Shu, was the god of the air, and his brother Geb was the god of the earth. When Nut was born, her father Shu lifted her over his shoulders and placed her over Geb's head, thus creating an empty space between them. This space was heaven, which Nut came to rule. Nut was a very beautiful goddess with skin as dark as night.
That's the photo I was trying to draw.
Shone brightly. She married her brother Geb, and together they had 4 children: Osiris, Isis, Set, and
so y'all know y'all heard about that. You know the Bible. Hold on,
father of Nut and Geb,
let me pause it. For you Bible thumpers that's gonna try to say something, pause and listen. We breaking down some things, so don't get your panties in a bunch, okay? We already know that people call these folks idols, so don't get your panties in a bunch. Once again, let's listen.
God R.A. did not approve of the union between brothers and decided that they could not have sexual intercourse on any day of the year. But Nut, determined to have children, turned to Thoth, the god of wisdom, for a solution. Thoth proposed a challenge to the moon god Khonsu. If he could create enough light for 5 extra days a year, Nut could have her children. Khonsu accepted the challenge and created the necessary light for the extra 5 days, allowing Nut to have her 4 children. Because of this, Nut became a highly respected and worshipped goddess in ancient Egypt, being associated with renewal and rebirth. She was also responsible for caring for the dead and protecting them on their way to the afterlife. Nut's story is an example of the importance of fertility and life in Egyptian mythology, as well as the power of women and the determination to achieve their goals. I hope you enjoyed this heartwarming story about Nut, the sky goddess. Did you like the story of the goddess Nut? Leave your like and comment below to let us know your opinion and suggestions for future stories.
Now,
And if you haven't subscribed
for reference
yet,
sake,
don't waste time and subscribe.
I did not know who this goddess was not. Okay? I just remember seeing the picture long ago of how they had her bent as the sky. Right here, that picture. Can you see? Well, maybe not. It went too fast. Let's see. Right there. Right there. Do y'all see? Half of it. Right there. Right there. The woman bent over as the sky. I wish I could do a screenshot, but my finger has to hold it there. Okay. Let's keep it moving. This is interesting. We're about to break down some things. I know y'all think, oh, goes in left field. Turn this back around. Goes in left field. Okay. So we let me write this name down. So that's where they got the woman is God from, right? Nut was the sky god. Nut is her name. So that's why you hear a lot of the people who started studying Egypt and all of that, and then they found out, but actuality, we were birthed by, a woman, sky god named Nut, who had children from her brother. Now, I know that sounds just so crazy. Her brother and all. Let me say this. This is a discussion for adults. Even in your biblical text, incest was rampant. Oh, what? I never heard of that before when I went and was saying holy, holy, holy in church. Even in your biblical text, excuse me, I just went took a bite of some food. Even in your biblical text, incest was rampant. So much so forth that in your commandments, they had to tell them, look, you cannot sleep with your brother, your sister, your daddy, your mama. Does that ring a bell? Because even these people who are the chosen ones of God were sleeping with brother, sister, daddy, mama, and it had to be written down. That's a no-no. So don't get on your holy horse. Okay? Don't get on your holy horse. It had to be written down. You can't be sleeping with brother, sister, none of that. Okay? So we're going to keep moving. On to Enoch. And his name not being Enoch. Let's get it. This is going, and you might want to know why you mentioned the woman being God and all of this and that, right? Well, we're gonna have to break this down in a couple of studies because of how things have been hidden from you and I. But first, we're going to hear about Enoch. If I can find it, guys. Oh, here we go. So, here we go. We're going to listen up to this, and then I'm just going to have to break down and do a whole series of how we've been led under certain curriculums. And some things are not true. So I'm going to turn this around so you can see this as well. And I'll let you listen to it because I don't want they be tripping. I don't want y'all look at too much already. So what we're getting ready to listen to, we're getting ready to listen about Enoch. And some things in this video are going to blow your mind as well, especially about who was deceived, because they like to say the woman was deceived and this and that. And not only in this video, but I have other videos regarding talking about basically man and woman and the deception. And so, but right now, we're going to talk about Enoch. And I know I went into the Egyptian and all of that because I was trying to come around to tell you about the different studies and how we got here, basically, right? I'm talking about how we got here as far as knowledge increasing and our desire to learn and find out what's really going on, and how some of us started that learning and quest in the late 80s and 90s to 2000s when we were talking about we were Egyptians and all of this, and the woman is God, and how the Romans want to take anything, any benefit of the woman other than laying down and birthing babies as a contribution to this realm, and how they are actually a homosexual group of men who were ruling, but everything that they touched had a homosexual overtone to it, not even an undertone, overtone. If you really go back and research about your gyms and how your gyms were formed, wrestling, football, all of that, you know, that patting on the booty, all of that. But they was doing it naked. But let's get into Enoch. This is going to blow you away. Let's listen up. This is not his name. His name is not Enoch.
Enoch, a biblical enigma, drifts through ancient scrolls like a shadowy figure. His story, shrouded in mystery, piques our curiosity and invites speculation. Who was this elusive character descending from Cain? Legends suggest he journeyed beyond earthly bounds, traversing celestial realms without fear. Was he a celestial messenger, or simply an ancient explorer with an overactive imagination? The enigmatic aura surrounding Enoch beckons us to uncover the truth hidden within the whispers of time, leaving us to wonder and ponder the secrets he carried to his celestial resting place. It's time we delve into the origins of Enoch and the intriguing Enochian tradition. Building upon our previous exploration of Adam and Eve and Cain's origins and various other myths, we now take a dive into the rich picture of Enoch's story, filled with a plethora of mystical elements such as magical knowledge, demons, giants, fallen angels, and celestial visitations. But before we try to unravel the mysterious Enoch, we need to recap where we are in the mythical beginnings of mankind told from the biblical narrative. We started with the obvious primordial myth of Adam and Eve, who have clear narrative connections to ancient Mesopotamia in the Adapa Atrahasis.
And you guys know Mesopotamia is the Sumerian people, the beginning of the writings of this quote. Mesopotamia is Sumerian people, the beginning of anything written, not Ethiopia, Mesopotamia. Okay, Ethiopia has the oldest Bible, but that is not the first place where the Sanskrit scrolls were written. The and all the tablets. Okay, so let's go.
Represents farmers and agriculture, while Abel represents the shepherds who are nomadic. Hint, hint, that's why he's the good guy. Several Mesopotamian and Egyptian stories have common themes in their agricultural settings, and as we turn the page to Enoch, I need you to understand what we're gazing at. As biblical scholar Ronald Hindle, Assyriologist Joshua Bowen, and several other experts in their respective fields have recognized that the Genesis authors are reversing the theme of the massive Babylonian kingdom's mythology, with the ziggurat as the pinnacle of civilization. Several scholars, including Dr. Joshua Bowen, have written clear as day how Genesis has intertextuality with the much earlier myths of Mesopotamia. You know, the human imagination is amazing, as can be seen in fictional movies and literature, which includes these myths. As far back as written history, humans have written myths trying to explain how we got here, how the world and everything seen exists, and why they are that way. Why snakes crawl on their bellies, or why women have pain in childbirth, why humans are mortal and die in due time. While these fundamental questions get answered differently by various ancient creation mythologies, the biblical one is late on history's radar in retelling its creation story and great flood. Enoch sits in this strange transition between the first man and woman and the destruction of humans by God and his divine counsel. Yep, you heard that right. There are several other gods with the biblical God. I mean, the biblical narrative expresses this all throughout the Bible.
And we went over that with the Elohim, right? So you all should be caught up on that. Y'all not new. Our students have graduated from that.
The biblical authors want to condemn this insight, as it only belongs to God or the gods and not humans. Mesopotamia says the city is good, and the Bible says that the city is bad. One good, one bad. Enoch picks up on this tradition and hammers the hell out of it. Our goal today will be to inform you of the origins of Enoch, which stretch back to the oldest known god in written history from Mesopotamia. It's strange that entire books were dedicated to this guy, because he gets the smallest introduction in a long line of others smack dab in a genealogical list, which looks awfully similar to the Sumerian king's list. Just so you know, our goal on Myth Vision is to bring you the best and legit scholarship from experts in their respective field. And one such fascinating scholar who sees obvious connections between Enoch and these far, far earlier Mesopotamian myths is Dr. or Professor Seth Sanders, who wrote the wonderful book From Adapa to Enoch.
So Adapa is Enoch's real name. Okay, I have it in the chat. Adapa is Enoch's real name.
That influenced the biblical authors as well as the Enochian tradition. The myth of Adapa. Adapa was one of the most popular literary figures in ancient Mesopotamia.
Ooh. And after we hear about Adapa, we're going to wrap this up. This is, think it's about 10 to 15 minutes long. And we might wrap it up a little bit before that and come back to it. Sister Todd.
This is my comeback. Start yours at purdyglobal.edu.
I mean, he was so popular that some scribes would even claim to be him.
And wait a minute, and I hope you pay attention to this video because I kept harping on the Roman Catholic Church taking over this book, and they used so many things out of the Sumerian tablets, the Sanskrit scrolls, even the way they dress, some things that they wear in their ceremonies. They've stolen it from the Sanskrit and the original text. So I want to see if you pick up on it.
This semi-human, super-powered sage who went to heaven, met the gods, and have uttered some of the most important works of religious literature. Later, down the road, we see several scribes in the Jewish history of Aramaic and Hebrew literature who claim to identify with these ancient heavenly revealer figures. Enoch is one such heavenly revealer figure. But oftentimes it is also overlooked that Moses is as well. Moses ascends to the top of a mountain. Sometimes it's Sinai and sometimes it's Horeb. But he goes to the throne of God in the heavens where the mountains meet the clouds and meets with God, then comes back down to humanity to reveal the divine revelations to mankind. This is exactly what Enoch is doing. The Dead Sea Scrolls scribes were often claiming to be enthroned in heaven. Reminds me of the Ephesians passage, being seated in heavenly places. Keep in mind, the first evidence of what people were reading as scripture is from the Dead Sea literature. And while our Bibles today exclude Enoch from being scripture, apart from the Ethiopic tradition, at the time of the Dead Sea Scrolls, as they were being written, it was the most popular kinds of stories, even more popular than several of the books Jews and Christians revere today. I repeat, Enoch was extremely popular and was read far more than most of the biblical books we have in our Bibles today, which Christians and Jews call scripture. In fact, there may be some ancient drama here for your inquisitive minds. Professor Gabriele Boccaccini has postulated that two different Torahs were floating around in various Jewish communities. Our Torah that we have in our Bibles today that centralizes Moses was one, and the other priestly group had a Torah with Enoch as their centralized figure and heavenly revealer. Both groups seem to wrestle over the temple in Jerusalem. Even Dead Sea Scroll scholar expert Kip Davis agrees with many of Boccaccini's observations. The idea that people can go between heaven and earth to bring back wisdom literally spans back into Sumer, which is the oldest known writing in the world. These sages, which traverse back and forth, are trying to access the larger order of the universe. They seem to be people who play a shamanic role with mystical revelations explaining the divine revealed secrets of the universe. It is often propagandistic for running empires and kings, and I bet you it was helpful to say their knowledge comes from heaven as authoritative. That kind of power and inequality of having this insight would put these sages in a safe place against other humans, as we see the sheep of any religion sees their cultic leaders as over them. Ancient kings would have these people on their payroll, and ancients would make similar criticisms use their roles to get money from the devotees, whether it's church or a seer telling you your future. They would say these ancient Mesopotamian sages dressed up in fish costumes and sucked the money from others' pockets.
Hold on. Let me pause it. Did you catch it? I said pay attention. I had to run back over here because I don't know if you're paying attention. He said that, you know, they've always used the church to rape the people's pocketbooks, right? That's basically breaking it down from what he was saying. Now, he also said that people who wanted to pretend like they were, you know, like Enoch, one of the calling, one of the, you know, they're getting their knowledge from up high. They saw what, you know, these ancient people wore and started dressing like them. And the fish outfits, do y'all know that the Pope, your Roman Catholic Church, where's my little, your Roman Catholic Church, I told you pay attention. They want y'all to think that they're so connected. You know how they have people go to confessions and things like that? Have y'all ever seen them wear, and I know this is not, that's not the lip. They have people go to confessions and things of that nature. I'll try to draw this for y'all. But in certain ceremonies, they wear a hat, something like this. This is not the best drawing, guys. They wear a hat, something like this. In it, something like this. You all see that? Where it's a point at the top, and a lot of people say that it looks like a fish, right? Right, like that. They wear a hat like that. And I wish I could. I'll probably try to pull it up after the end of this so that you can get a good picture of it. They wear a hat like that because in ancient Mesopotamia and stuff, these people who were, you know, supposed to be high, are close to the Creator, the Most High, and everything. They wore that garment. So who picked up that look? Who stole the look? The Roman Catholic Church. Let's get into it. Let me see if I can run it back a little bit. Listen up. The Roman Catholic Church.
People who play a shamanic role with mystical revelations explaining the divine revealed secrets of the universe. It is often propagandistic for running empires and kings. And I bet you it was helpful to say their knowledge comes from heaven as authoritative. That kind of power and inequality of having this insight would put these sages in a safe place against other humans, as we see the sheep of any religion sees their cultic leaders as over them. Ancient kings would have these people on their payroll, and ancients would make similar criticisms we do today against the religious who use their roles to get money from the devotees, whether it's church or a seer telling you your future. They would say these ancient Mesopotamian sages dressed up in fish costumes and sucked the money from others' pockets. Here's a fun fact.
So where did Rome get that from? Ancient Mesopotamia.
Mesopotamian stories is that they are extremely well documented and preserved. The documentation is often preserved on clay tablets, and we have several original copies of many things, unlike the Bible, where parchment, papyri, and other ways of documenting have been lost in the sands of history. So we have to use several other tools to try guessing on reconstructing the data. In ancient Mesopotamia, we have two thorough ascent to heaven myths. Though there are others, one is the myth of Etana and the other of Adapa. Here's a brief summary of the myth of
Remember, Adapa is
Once upon a
Enoch's
time, in
name.
the realm of ancient Sumeria, there lived a king named Etana, a ruler with ambitions as lofty as the heavens themselves. In a bid to secure an heir, he embarked in remarkable quest, soaring through the celestial expanse on the mighty wings of an eagle. His destination? The divine realm, where he sought the fabled plant of birth from the gods, hoping it would grant him the gift of fatherhood, since he is described as infertile. In the detailed form of the legend, there is a tree with the eagle's nest at the top and a serpent at the base. Both the serpent and eagle have promised Utu, the sun god, to behave well toward one another, and they share food with their children. But one day, the eagle eats the serpent's children. The serpent comes back and cries. Utu tells the serpent to hide inside the stomach of a dead bull. The eagle goes down to eat the bull. The serpent captures the eagle and throws him into a pit to die of hunger and thirst. Utu sends a man, Etana, to help the eagle. Etana saves the eagle, but he also asks the bird to find the plant of birth in order to become father of a son. The eagle takes Etana up to the heaven of the god, Anu, the oldest god in written history. But Etana becomes afraid in the air and goes back to the ground. He makes another attempt and finds the plant of birth, enabling him to have Balai. Etana's royal pedigree was no mere fabrication, or so they would want you to believe, for he held the prestigious title of the first king of kings.
This is it. This
Commercial,
is what we find
y'all.
out with question. Student body math proficiency. What? When we say it's good, fair,
Get out of here, man.
Understood. Excuse me, we get you real in-depth school info. Homes.com.
Now you understand that what he's reading and talking about are the myths, just like the myth that we listened to about the Egyptian goddess Nut. This is the same difference, okay?
The esteemed Sumerian king list. This king's list was a very early myth, genealogical origin story in Mesopotamia. In the annals of history, he was held as he who stabilized the lands, a regal figurehead tasked with bringing order to the chaotic world birthed by the gods. With such a distinguished reputation, it's no wonder he was cast as the leading protagonist in this captivating myth. A paragon of kingly virtue who united the
All of
lands
your
his time.
stories are myths
He is most likely
that
a
were written
mythological
down
king who
and
gets his own myth in the
created
old
your
Babylonian
word, y'all.
period, circa 1894 BC to 1595 BC. His myth claims that he is the first real king, even though several kings of the Sumerian kings list are mentioned as earlier genealogical kings of Etana. However, as many scholars have noted, the names of these earlier kings mentioned on this list have names which indicate chaos or symbolize the disorder of the primordial period, indicating they're probably fabricated metaphors as names. The story's essence is one of unwavering trust in the divine, a message whispered across the ages. And who better to embody this profound wisdom than the renowned ruler himself, Etana, with his regal splendor and resolute character, became the ideal vessel to convey the lesson of putting faith in the gods, handpicked by this mysterious author of the myth. As evidence of its ancient origins, intricate cylinder seals have been discovered, showcasing the brave Etana perched atop his feathered steed during the reign of Sargon of Akkad. These remarkable artifacts serve as portals to the bygone era, testaments to the enduring power of myth and the timeless allure of Etna's soaring exploits. Thus, the myth of Etna weaves a tale that transcends time, whisking us away to a realm where kings commune with eagles and divine plants hold the promise of lineage. It implores us to embrace the celestial unknown and trust in powers beyond our mortal grasp. For even in the realm of myth and legend, the echoes of wisdom still resonate, reminding us to take flight on the wings of faith, as many of the faithful would suggest. My recommendation is to be highly skeptical and consider these stories, cherry picking the good, throwing out the bad.
Well, we know they cherry pick, y'all. We know they cherry
This
pick.
myth of Etna is the only Mesopotamian written myth that we have documented before writing, with several sills with a guy going to heaven on an eagle's back. Etna was called a shepherd, similar to what you find with King David and Jesus, because a shepherd looks after his flock and was a metaphor of kingship even before writing. In the sills of Etna, it is literally a shepherd on the sill. By the first millennium, Etna has fallen out of popularity and is considered an underworld ruler or judge of the dead. The myth of Adapa is also written down in a very
Adapa
early
is
period
Enoch.
during the old Babylonian times. However, contrasting Adapa to Etana, Adapa gains steam and grows in popularity over the millennia. Most of the great Neo-Assyrian kings like Sargon II, who destroyed Israel, is equated with Adapa. In the realm of Mesopotamian mythology, a captivating story unfolds, starring none other than the mysterious Adapa. Unbeknownst to him, this legendary figure inadvertently spurned the enticing offer of everlasting life, referred to as Adapa and the South Wind. This mesmerizing account is pieced together from fragmented tablets discovered at Tel El Amarna in ancient Egypt during the 14th century BC, as well as from artifacts unearthed in the illustrious library of Ashurbanipal in Assyria during the 7th century BC. Delving further into antiquity, the oldest records of this intriguing character stem from Tel Hadad tablets inscribed in the sacred language of Sumerian, hailing from the 19th to the 16th century BC. Adapa's prominence within the realm of Mesopotamian faith cannot be understated. Uttering his name became a potent invocation in the mystical realm of exorcism rituals, a conduit to channel supernatural forces. Furthermore, he assumed the role of a powerful ruler, his name invoked to elicit favorable comparisons and emulate his wisdom. Among the scholarly circles, there exists a conflation between Adapa and the Apkallu, renowned as Uana. Here is Adapa's myth.
Okay.
After the flood, although the kingship...
They're going to talk about Enoch, whose real name is Adapa. And this looks like it's going to be longer than I planned to sit here because I've been on live for a while now. So I'm just going to let it just kind of go into the first part of Adapa's myth because he had to because he went through all this other talk before we got here. So here we go.
...was in Kish.
I'm going to cut it short and then we'll come back and call it tomorrow.
Had no direction. And this led to the rise of Adapa.
And this
Adapa
is
was
Enoch.
a mortal man, extremely pious, faithful servant and sage or priest of the temple of Enki. Or, in Babylon, this god was called Ea, who is the lord lord of magic and secret knowledge in the city of Eridu. Enki, sometimes considered his father, had given Adapa the gift of great wisdom, but not eternal life. While carrying out his duties being a faithful servant, he was fishing at the river Tigris to catch fish to offer as an offering to his god Enki. The sea became rough by the strong south wind, and his boat was capsized. He may have drowned from this, but angry, Adapa ascends out of the water and utters a magic spell which broke the wings of the south wind, preventing
now,
it
could
from
you
blowing
imagine?
for 7 days. Humans are not
Hold on for a
supposed to
minute.
be able to do this.
Adapa is Enoch's real name, and this writing is from the Dead Sea Scrolls. Now, could you imagine that this type of writing, what it is said? And when we had a first discussion about the woman at the well and all of that breakdown, and how it was not just her, but when we talked about the Elohim and being a council of gods, and how they took out the word Elohim and put just the general title of God, and using God, it's the masculine sense of the word, instead of the council of God. If we were to hear the true writings and how they really sound and what they really say, and you hear magic, and you hear Adapa is Enoch's real name, and you hear these things that basically that's a big no-no, right? Then you can hear and see the cherry picking that has been done when the biblical text was put together. So it's interesting. This is out of the Dead Sea Scrolls. You're hearing the story, the original story of Enoch. His name is Adapa from Mesopotamia's stories. Okay, I'm not gonna finish this. We're probably gonna finish some more tomorrow because this is fairly long. I'm gonna let you guys hear just a little bit more, and then we're gonna cut it short, and then I'll come back tomorrow and I'll bookmark this where we stopped off at.
And the south wind was absolutely necessary for farming in this part of the world. So the world has come to a pause because of Adapa. The oldest known writing god in the world, the god Anu, freaks out, wondering who messed up the natural order of the world. So he calls Adapa to account for his action by coming up to heaven.
He calls Enoch.
He warns him by instructing Adapa.
Listen to
They're
this.
going to try tricking you in heaven by giving you deadly.
Listen to this, and we're going to end after this insertion of what he's going to say. Because how I said they cherry picked the word, and the original text and what it says is far different. Well, the story of Enoch is not in here first and foremost, unless you have an older Bible. But even if you have an older Bible, they have the name Enoch instead of Adapa. But when we were talking about women and how that how the Roman Catholic Church and Rome has had their grubby paws on the scriptures from the time that they were able to get understood and deciphered and read, right? And how they cherry picked, and how one of their tools for their curriculum and how they want you to know and study is oppression of women, and how that I broke down earlier how Adam and Eve were created at the same time. That was taken out, and they made Adam's first wife evil. They made her name Lilith. She got the boot. And if you know the story of Lilith, she got the boot because she wouldn't lay down how Adam wanted to have sex with her. So they kicked her out. brought Eve into the picture. Eve was submissive, but Eve ate the apple. The apple, right? No, the knowledge. Okay, and so this threw them into sin. Well, that is not actually how the text really went, because the Roman Catholic Church wanted the oppression of women and having Eve to sin by not listening and following the rules, um, getting the knowledge, right? Um, caused all of this chaos for women to have pains in childbirth and so on and so forth. But in this original text that you're hearing about Enoch, his name is Adapa, and this is what happened. Not Eve biting and or eating from the fruit and getting the knowledge. Peep this out.
Food and water, probably poisonous.
Okay, let me go back a little bit more. Because this is Enoch. He's getting called up to heaven. So listen to this, because he messed up.
Although the kingship was in Kish, humanity was without guidance and had no direction. And this led to the rise of Adapa. Adapa was a mortal man, extremely pious, faithful servant and sage or priest of the temple of Enki. Or, in Babylon,
if you know about
this god
Enki,
was called Ed,
that's one of
who is the lord of magic and secret knowledge in the city of Eridu. Enki, sometimes considered his father, had given Adapa the gift of great wisdom, but not eternal life. While carrying out his duties being a faithful servant, he was fishing at the river Tigris to catch fish to offer as an offering to his god Enki. The sea became rough by the strong south wind, and his boat was capsized. He may have drowned from this, but angry, Adapa ascends out of the water and utters a magic spell which broke the wings of the south wind, preventing it from blowing for 7 days. Humans are not supposed to be able to do this, and the south wind was absolutely necessary for farming in this part of the world. So the world has come to a pause because of Adapa. The oldest known writing god in the world, the god Anu, freaks out, wondering who messed up the natural order of the world. So he calls Adapa to account
who
for
messed
his
up the natural order of the world?
But Enki warns
Adapa,
him
known as AKA Enoch. Listen.
By giving you deadly food and water, probably poisonous. When offered garments and oil, he should put the clothes on and anoint himself, but don't eat. Sounds kind of familiar, right? Garden of Eden story? So Adapa goes to heaven and is questioned, why did you do this? Adapa said, the wind attacked me. Anu laughed and said, you humans are funny with your magic that give you divine powers. Anu instructs him to put on the oil and garments. So Adapa puts on the oil and garments as he recalls his master Enki said this was okay to do. Adapa is then offered the food of life and water of life, but will not eat or drink because he remembers the instructions of his god Enki. Anu, who asks why he will not eat or drink. Adapa replies that Enki told him not to. Anu laughs at Enki's actions and passes judgment on Adapa by asking rhetorically, what ill has Adapa brought on mankind? He adds that men will suffer disease as a consequence.
You see?
Which might explain an origin myth that we ask again in our stories. Why do people get diseases? Adapa is then sent back down to earth. This is the origin story of his supernatural power of being able to do divine things and do mortal things. Incantations is one of the things Adapa brings to mankind from his visitation to heaven.
Okay, so we're going to stop right there. And let me write down this as a number. And we're going to stop right there tonight. So just in recap, what you just heard about Enoch being called up to heaven because he was messing around with some his practices. He was messing around with some magic, y'all. This is in the original text. And so we're going to stop right here. He was called up to heaven, but his master down here, known as Enki, which is which we know as, he's a Sumerian Anunnaki. He told Enoch, okay, now you got to go see the creative awe, okay? And but when you get up there, because Enki knew that if Enoch, but we know his real name now as Adapu, if he went up to heaven from the original scrolls, if he went up to heaven and the creative awe offered him the food and the food and drink, that this is eternal life that he would be getting. And Enki, who Adapu served here in this realm, told him not to. But Enki knew what the water, what the food was, that eternal life was the food, and that if Enoch ate the food, that he wouldn't be able to come back into this realm. And Enki wanted him to be able to come back into the earthly realm, right? And so, but he got called up because he messed up some winds. You know how we know that the Most High, he puts, like, tells the ocean, you go this far, and the ocean might come up and go back, but it doesn't. It goes back to its original place. It doesn't move out of its bounds. Okay, just like the stars and different things, unless it's told to or it's prophesied that stars will fall and things of that nature. But for the most part, they stay where they're supposed to stay. Well, Enoch, we know him as Enoch, but Adabu, from the original text, then messed around down here. He was doing something with some magic and caused the west winds not to blow. And so he got called up to see the Most High, the creator of all, because he want to know what happened to this wind. Why is it not blowing like it's supposed to blow? Because if it doesn't blow like it's supposed to blow, then that portion of the land won't have the growth of the vegetation and the foods and this and that. So that's the backstory thus far. Okay, guys. So he goes up, but before he goes up, Enki, the god of this, like, there's different levels, different dimensions, guys, right? Tells him don't eat, because he knew that was everlasting life that he would be getting if he went up and was offered the food. And so when he got up there and he was offered the anointing, he told him, yeah, you can anoint yourself with the oil. Yeah, because the Most High, the God of the creator of all, he's going to anoint you with oil. He's going to offer you food, but don't eat the food. And so when he went up, he got anointed, and then he got offered the food, but he didn't eat the food. And so the creator of all was like, well, why didn't you eat the food? And then he told him because Enki told him not to eat the food. Okay. And so, but now he has offended the creator of all. And he's like, you silly rabbit. So now y'all are gonna have to suffer with sickness and pain. And that right there is, and you can go back and recap it, was the story of Adam and Eve, which your Roman Catholic churches made the woman to have eaten of the knowledge. Enoch already had knowledge. Okay, so this is the flip of the story. So it's very interesting, guys. And it's more flips when you read the original text, from the Sea Scrolls that before they were edited and put in here, and made Eve to have been the one who ate of knowledge and caused all of the sin and the pains of the women giving birth, and this and that, the man having to, because Adam wasn't there to show her the way, and so he has to till the earth. No, it was Enoch who was listening to Enki, and when he was called up to the creative awe, because we learned about the Elohim, knowing there's multiple gods and there's levels to this, from the original text that we know of today as the edited form of our Bible. We're listening to the original text. It was Enoch who refused the food from the creative awe, which actually was everlasting life. And basically, he offended the creative awe, and the creative awe said, "Well, this is where we get the sickness and different things that have happened to humans, not from Eve, but it came from Enoch, and his name is Abdu." So, if I said that right. So, we're going to stop right here tonight. Tomorrow, we'll pick back up. I wrote down the timestamp so that I'll know exactly where we stopped at. I'll do a short recap. But I've been on here a long, long time, for a few hours. So, I'm going to go ahead and end the live tonight. And, yeah, guys, do your studying. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to be interesting. These are not my words. I'm not trying to sway you into anything of my teachings. I'm just letting you listen to the original text, the original sea scroll, Dead Sea Scrolls. That's it, sand. Dead Sea Scroll, and the original writing of Samaria that has been edited so that it can read more like a novel, so that it can be used as an oppressive tool. But if you are here to learn and understand what is going on in this realm that you are in, and how that you can proceed, come back tomorrow night and we'll finish this up. And I'm out, and much love.